Welcome back to Factory Sealed. It is March 10th, 2019. My name's Eric Peterson. Joining me today, Mr. Mike Tyson.
Ig-YOU-wana, Tom. Ig-YOU-fucking-wana.
He's just been waiting for that, hasn't he?
We got Tom Ig-YOU-wana Reagan.
Ig-YOU-wana, peoples.
And Dan the Black Death Curtis.
Ig-YOU-wana, guys.
No, right. I want to back up Eric here because Eric gets a lot of shit about the way he pronounces things in this show. But Tom, Ig-YOU-wana.
I've always said that. I've always said it.
And you've always been wrong.
Well, stranger things have happened. I've just never heard anyone say iguana.
What? Like the
Seriously?
rest of the entire English-speaking population of the world
No,
say iguana.
don't you dare just say that it's only me. You don't reckon there's
Actually,
millions
somebody
of
who
others
says
listening?
go near my, I'm with you. I'm with you.
So, yeah.
I need
There's
to
a
be
lot of
careful here,
mispron-
actually, because
There's a lot of
The
mispronunciations
day that
out
you
there.
pronounce something wrong, you are getting some shit.
you've got
He
your name
pronounces
right.
oregano wrong.
Tom's got Ig-YOU-wana. Eric's got like
Everybody does.
70% of his whole vocabulary.
Has anybody got some herbs?
And also, I'm not the only person who says oregano.
Yeah, you are. It's oregano.
Tom?
Oh, I really want to say oregano, but I won't.
If you say oregano, so help me God, I am muting.
It's oregano. I'm sorry,
It's
buddy.
oregano.
I'm sorry.
Daniel?
Oregano.
There you go. Oregano.
What's it like saying oregano? Is that really odd?
No, it's brilliant. It just rolls out the mouth. It's like actually putting the emphasis on the correct syllable instead of forcing yourself to be incorrect. Like, does it take effort to speak that poorly?
Oregano, the delicious treat.
Oh, God.
Heart of palms covered in oregano.
You said it right. Well done.
Hey!
Cheers!
Chars.
So I've given us all a very special stream overlay in case you haven't seen.
Oh, God, no, I
God.
haven't.
Let's have a look.
I need to
No, I
log in.
haven't.
We are
See.
live on Twitch, twitch.tv/factory_sealed.
So we are.
Oh, God, let me have a look
I
at
kind
this.
of want to see this.
I don't want to ruin
but
it.
I
I'll
don't
let
wanna-
everybody figure it out.
Oh, hang on, I've got an advertisement.
Oh, man, I forgot Dan's name. I got to put Dan's name back up. Hold on.
Oh, how kind.
Oh, God, I think I actually deleted it.
Oh, no.
Maybe?
I've already got Amazon Prime. Leave me alone.
Ah, we've got somebody on the chat already.
It might be me logging in.
No.
No, Mike. No, XWVP13 says, nah, Mike's right. It's oregano.
It
Yeah.
clearly
They've
says
they've just-
oregano. They typed oregano right there.
Yeah, but look at iguana. There's a U in there. All right. I'm sorry for the.
I think this is a battle
Okay.
you're never going to win.
I'm so confused. Like, I understand mine. I understand Dan's. But I don't understand yours and Tom's.
Mine is a TV. Well, the legs are gone, but I'm factory sealed. That's set,
But
sealed
why is it all frosted? Like
Yeah,
you've
why are
jizzed
you
all
frosted?
over it.
Because it's got jizz on it.
It looks like a cocaine mirror.
Yeah? I'm factory sealed. Come on, Mike, get with it. And then
And
Tom's
what's
is
Tom
just
supposed to be?
super fucking fancy.
Mine's an oil painting.
That's why your voice is out of sync. The oil is slowing it down.
Yeah. Exactly. Although it seems to have fixed itself. I don't want to jinx it, but it seems to have fixed. Pretty happy about that.
Are you?
Yeah. I mean, I hope so.
Oh, XWVP13's miles per hour.
Oh.
Yay.
Hey.
Hey!
Miles.
Hey!
Way.
Bundle!
There's a-
Hey! Ooh, hey! Hey! Ooh, hey!
Hey.
Ooh,
This is what this show has become.
This is pro tip for podcasting, guys. When nobody has anything to say, just make grunting noises.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
We're back, guys.
Yeah, all four of us.
All of us.
Until next time when I'm not going to be here.
After you guys ditched us to talk about Gex.
Hey, I never intended to be on that show.
This is true.
I did. I played that shit.
I left Eric here to insult religion.
I did no such thing. I just told the people what you told me.
Oh dear. Dan was the one who dropped out.
Yes, well, I dropped out for a very good reason, because I was infected with Tyson typhoid. The Black Death of the North.
Only the special people get to have that, so think yourself lucky.
That was, honestly, it was the most relentless cold/flu, whatever the hell it was, that I've ever had in my life.
I still haven't gotten any of it.
I'm
so.
lucky to have not got any of those things.
Oh,
you guys
man,
have
it was
inferior
horrendous.
immune systems. It must be this North American air.
I think it's, to be honest, it's a combination of Mike's Black Death and the planes, because every time I go on a plane, I get something. So, I don't know.
We should probably stop making out with everybody on there.
Oh man, he was relentless.
Oh yeah.
Every single flight. Like, he wouldn't sit down. Seatbelt sign would come on. He'd be down there. There'd be like one of the, I don't know, the stewards or stewardesses. It'd be on him. Straight on him. Leg wrapped around them. They'd be trying to serve drinks, and there he is, right in the way.
Just
They loved it.
going at it.
I kissed this flight.
Dan, no, Dan. The cockpit doesn't mean what you think it does.
What? Wait, it shouldn't be in this man's eye. I'm trying to heal him of his ailments.
Just wanted to give him better vision.
That's an unwrapped joke, guys.
Well, it depends if you're circumcised or not.
That's if you want to remove the eye.
Don't think I am.
Cheers, Tom. Thanks for that.
I got
Dan,
it.
that is way more
got
about
it.
your anatomy than I ever wanted to know. But the fact that he says, "Don't think I am."
I thought you already knew after I jabbed it in your eye when I was in your house.
What is going on? Dan's going to start his own optician's place, and Mike's going to be the spokesperson. Come get your eyes fixed. I'll put my dick in it.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Now that is a good optician's joke right there, Mike.
That's how you do it, Mike.
Oh, sorry.
Not some Gran
Edna,
Turismo spec
put another
saver.
tally on the good optician joke, John.
Oh, Jesus.
God.
I always worry when, like, there's been a two-man show and then the four of us get on together, because it just descends into madness.
Yep. I just said that live on air. Yep. It's happened.
That's it now. It's on the internet.
Yeah,
It's alright.
it's there.
I've said worse.
Putting
Have
your
you?
uncircumcised dick
Island made out of children's tears.
into people's eyes.
That time it sounded like he said the N-word, but didn't.
Oh yeah.
What was that
I was
all
thinking
about?
I was thinking that yesterday. I was like, why did I say that? Can't remember.
Oh no,
It was meow, but you were putting a G in it, and
Yeah.
that's what it was. Yeah, we're not going to repeat that one.
No, that's not. Moving swiftly on.
Moving forward.
How are we all, gentlemen, apart from insane?
I'm fully healed.
From what?
Snip miss.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
I forgot that happened.
Mary Snipper.
oh yeah, I was real sad I wasn't on the last show. Me and Dan were going to serenade you with Snipness songs.
I mean, you can now.
No, it's too late now.
It's beginning to look a lot like Snipma. I can't remember the words. To what's that?
So is it scissors in every ward?
Yes.
Scissors
Scissors in every ward. Take a look in the hospital bed with Eric and his weird head. With nervous Tom and rapidly shrinking balls. That was it.
Remembered.
You know what, right? That day I sent that on WhatsApp, I was singing it in the shower that morning. And then for the entire morning, just kept singing it.
What did Crystal think of all of this?
She was upstairs getting ready when I was in the shower, and then I was at work, so it was fine.
Is your shower not upstairs?
No, it's downstairs actually.
Is it in the kitchen with all the other shit that shouldn't be in the kitchen?
Yes, it is. I just have a stand-up wash in the sink.
Like a baby.
Oh man.
Snip my balls, take my sperm away.
That was mine, wasn't it?
I think so.
What else we got?
What else do we have?
Look
I can't remember.
Look for this. This video's must-have Christmas album, guys. Along with my new book, Mike Tyson Dad Jokes.
Hey, I thought that one about Halo was very well researched.
It was. I admire your dedication to the joke, but it was still terrible.
So, some context for the listeners. So, Dan said that Master Chief didn't say very much in Halo, the first Halo, and Eric was like, well, he says enough. So I pulled up the whole script and searched for the word enough in the script, and he says it once. I was like, he says it once. It's uttered 8 times. Yeah? He says it once. It's uttered 8 times throughout the entire game, 7 times by Cortana, once by Master Chief.
You know, because you said that, I noticed it when I was playing through it. I was like, oh, he said enough.
There you go, see? I enhanced your experience.
Oh, yeah. It made the game loads better. I mean, I was enjoying it, but it really started to make me all tingly when he said enough. I was like, there's Mike's joke. And then I just laughed for days.
And then you felt like Eric on Snipsness.
Snipness?
Yeah, you felt like Eric on Snipsness, hooked up on Valium.
Heck yeah. You couldn't care.
See, I'm just here to enhance your life, Daniel.
Oh, thank you, Michael.
Make you enjoy video games much more by listening out for the key word.
Enough.
Mike, you've got one.
Alright.
Last Snipmas, you chopped off my balls. but the very next day, she's knocked up anyway. This year, to save me from kids, I'll get it done by a professional.
Yes. I'm pleased with that.
And then Tom, if there's a dog with scissors, don't look good. Who are you going to call? County Sheriff. That wasn't actually you, but I put that. But I figured it was pretty much you.
You credited me in some way.
Mike Tyson's also done. So when the Christmas album comes out, I won't sing them all, so you can enjoy them when it comes out. But Mike's also got Jerking Around the Snipmas Tree. And got Snip My Balls, Take My Sperm Away. The old classic, you know.
It's a good one.
And of course, everybody's favourite. It's beginning to look a lot like Snipmas.
I can't wait for this album.
Look out for that in stores this festive season.
Do we have to stay? Do we have to queue up at a window in order to get it?
Yes, you do.
Oh, Jesus. So other than Snipmas, how we all been? What you been up to?
I had a birthday party yesterday for my kid.
What, your birthday?
No, for my kid. And pro tip, if you have kids, make like their first 5 birthday parties about the adults that have to come with.
That makes sense.
Tons of alcohol. That's all we had. A couple of things.
Really, you had a party and used your child as an excuse.
That's essentially
I like this idea that like Eric's just entire house runs on caffeine and alcohol, because that's pretty much what happened while we were there.
That's it. Yeah, just constant pots of coffee flowing.
Yeah.
It's not uncommon for Christy and I to make a pot of coffee at 9:30 at night and pound the whole thing.
I'm kind of convinced Mike's going to move to America just to get creamer.
Oh, yeah. Fucking fucking delicious creamer.
I love the creamer.
You just don't get that specific one over here.
Yeah,
In fact, you don't really get
you like
it.
the different type of cream.
No, the cream.
Like a sex cream?
Yeah, that was it.
Oh.
I don't get it.
Oh, hey, on our stream it still says we're playing Apex.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
What did I say before we started?
No, it's
Facing
got
off
the right
against-
name. It just says we're playing Apex, not Halo.
Facing off against Father Gascoigne on Apex Legends.
It's going to be one complicated stream here a little bit.
Father Gascon.
Father Gascon. That's what happens when you run out of gas in your car. Get it, Dan? The gas is gone.
And when you're a priest.
You gotta get to church somehow.
That's a
Father,
specific.
my gas
That's
is
a very
gone.
specific joke.
Oh, you're in the car with your northern dad. Father Gascon.
Now then, lad, the gas gone.
Alright, Gascon.
We'll have to eat some snap while we wait for the breakdown.
Father, why have we stopped? Gascon.
Why do people listen to us? Why?
Why do we talk to each other?
This shouldn't be allowed.
I hope there's no QA.
Father Gascon.
There's like
What is a sexually seductive dance and also where a Yorkshireman goes in the daytime? Twerk.
Twerk.
Oh, you guys are such idiots.
See, I love our show description for the last episode. There's just no context because it starts with, "If you take a break from facing off against Father Gascon to talk about sex."
I don't even think we explained it on the show.
No.
Have we explained it on this show?
People looking at us like, "Oh, this guy's a playing bubble."
So Tom decided he wanted to stream some facing off against Father Gascon, and when he and I went to do the two-man show, I forgot to change the name of the stream. So it's
Actual
episode
tears.
175 is facing off against Father Gascon.
Jesus Christ.
It's all gone. All the gas.
Here's one for you, Tom. Here's one. You'll like this. Here's a Yorkshire joke.
Oh yeah, I like Yorkshire jokes.
That's a famous film about a famous musical film, and also what a kid says when he gets home. Mamma mia.
I'm noting that one down for the joke book.
Hey, Tom's legitimately pissing himself.
I know what the book's for, Tom.
Yes, I'll buy it.
So I
Can I get a
mentioned
signed
this, I
copy?
mentioned
Can
this
Mike
in our
sign a copy
WhatsApp
for
chat
me?
the other day, but I'm thinking the front cover is going to be Mike, like sitting on a chair in a Santa outfit with Tom sitting cross-legged in front of him, just pissing himself laughing.
I just need to alter that photo of you and Eric where you sat on each other's knees with your heads swept over.
I love that picture. That's probably one of the happiest photos I have.
I thought you were saying it's one of the happiest moments of your life.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were going to say as well.
It was all building up to that. I don't know. I think the most joy I've ever seen on Tom's face is when he's straddling the Grand Canyon. I think that's the photo for me.
Oh, that was a lot of joy.
What you don't know is I was secretly there off camera telling a shit joke.
Yeah.
Before you even knew us.
Yep.
Just popped up from nowhere.
Mamma mia!
So anyway, speaking about the North and Sheffield and stuff,
The North
I
remembers.
think Pokemon North and South was announced.
Oh my god.
Did you see that there
my
was a side note? Did you see that there was a Mexican newspaper that printed it? There was 3 Pokemon games because it's Sword and Shield, and then somebody made another logo that was Gun. So they printed Sword, Shield, and Gun.
Yeah, they did. They thought it was real.
Ah,
That's the North American version.
It's just got an eagle emblazoned behind the logo.
Yeah, and you can only catch different variants of eagle, like 150 times.
Eagles and turkeys, that's it.
Instead of battling the Pokemon, you just shoot them, then chuck Pokeballs at them.
Yeah. Shoot him in the wing. I want to keep this one in good nick.
Pokemon are behind walls.
Congratulations, you have shot 100 Pokemon.
You try and heal your fainted Pokemon when you don't have insurance.
I'm sorry, sir. He's dead. He's been shot 80 times.
Nurse Joy at the Pokemon Center, like trying to give it CPR.
Yeah.
Then you go to that, you know, when you go on Pokemon and you go to that weird place where they've got the weird medicines which hurt your Pokemon, but they're all called herbs.
I'm sorry, but these bullet holes are a pre-existing condition.
Let me take your Pokemon from you. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, they're dead.
Anyway, to your
brilliant.
point, Dan, Pokemon North and South. That's been a big to-do.
Yeah, it's a cost of it. Basically, because it looks like they're set in England.
No Greg's, though, is there?
Well, so there
Did
is
somebody
a
Photoshop that?
Someone
Yeah.
did
Like, get the
Photoshop
sausage roll.
It's great. It's fucking great. Oh, God.
Oh, do you know what? Right. So in different parts of England, people call a bread roll a different thing. Like some people call it a roll, some call it bun, some a baps,
biscuit,
some a
like you call
a
everything?
cob. No,
Oh my
sorry,
God,
a
a
cob.
bread cake. Some bread
But what-
cake as well.
Yeah, what I love watching, right? If you go into Greg's, like around before 11, they do bacon rolls or like sausage rolls, like breakfast,
yes, they
like
do.
sandwiches, basically. And I always love the confusion of someone ordering a sausage roll before 11 o'clock, because obviously there's the sausage roll, which is the sandwich in the butt, and then the sausage rolls, which is the pastry. So depending what part of the country you're in, if you go in the wrong point and ask for a sausage roll, like just honestly, it's mass confusion. Like fucking shutters come down, there's lasers, there's dogs and cats barking and meowing, fucking mass hysteria.
Just some woman at the front crying because she can't decide.
So
What do you mean a sausage roll?
So if you're in Sheffield and you want sausage between bread, would you have to ask for a sausage bap?
I'm not sure what they actually use around here.
A sausage what?
Bap.
Bap.
It's another.
Bap.
So like like a
Is
bread
that
roll.
what you use to hold your ponytail like you were talking about earlier?
That's a bubble.
That's a bobble.
Not a ponytail holder.
A ponytail holder.
A hair bap.
Just
It's it should be, you know like how Chun-Li has those like little white things over the top of like her little buns.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds like it'd be one of those.
Well, there's a featured image for this podcast.
Cynthia, have you got a hair bap?
Before you came online, Tom, Eric tried to convince us that like a bobble was called a ponytail holder.
it is because it holds the tail that looks like a pony on the back of your head.
No,
Ponytail.
hang on. You give us
Yes, I was
all
about to
of
say
the
the
time
same thing.
for literal naming of things.
Go to Google,
Yeah.
type in ponytail holder. Now I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to type in bobble. We're going to see which one's dumber.
First hit hair bap.
Nope. When I go to
but do
Google and type in
do
bobble,
you mean like a hair bap as in like something that goes on your head, or hair wrapped in pastry?
when I go to Google and type in bobble, I get water bottles that look like you put tampons in them.
What?
Oh, you mean infusion things?
Yeah, they're called bobbles. Like somebody took
That ain't it. That ain't a
teas.
bobble. That ain't a bobble.
and put bees there because it's like bottle, but they won't. Yeah, you get it, Dan?
Oh yeah, water bubble.
Yeah.
This isn't a paid ad, by the way.
So I'm still scrolling and have yet to see anything that would hold hair in.
All
any
right.
fashion.
Put hair bubble.
Well, okay, you could do that for anything and get whatever.
Excuse me. It's not my fault that someone decided to like call their water bottle like brand Bobble, is it?
Yes.
Nope,
Use
still
the
not
code
getting
factory
it at
sealed.
all. Put in hair bobble and it says no. That's dumb.
What I like after 100+ episodes of like basically most of this cast being together, Eric still basically thinks we invented the English language and gives us shit for it.
Literally, the first thing that comes up when I put hair bubble is like hair bubbles.
Nope.
But is it region specific?
Yeah, maybe.
I'm just kidding, it does. But it's a dumber name. Ponytail holder's better.
No, it isn't. It takes longer to say.
Mate, hair bap is the way forward.
Bubbles.com. Have you ever wanted a bubble in your head? Use the code Factory Seal to get 25% off your first.
How do you spell BAP? B-A-P?
And also we also need to mention IKEA this week, just in case we get that sponsorship.
If you go to Google and type in BAP, you get some sort of effeminate male K-pop group.
I mean, I'm sure this is from
I
IKEA.
get
I
the
get for blood
IKEA.
alcohol poisoning.
Wait, no. I get the British Association for Psychopharmacology.
Oh,
It's the first
crazy.
hit on mine. Again, not an ad.
we are going to shortly start taking sponsorship. So if you have
There
some
you
sort
go.
of business and would
If you
like
go
to
to
represent it,
www.psychopharmacology.com and put in the code for 25% off Factory Seal. Thank you.
Hang on. BAP in Wikipedia. There's BAP, which is bread, a type of bread roll. BAP, which is cooked rice. There's the Barley Action Plan. There's the BAP system, which is a point system for chess.
the South Korean
It's
band.
also a word for tits.
Black American Princess.
Yes.
There's the Browning Automatic Pistol.
Are we just going to read off acronyms of BAP at this point?
Yep. That's what we come to. But yeah, BAP is also.
Remember when
is
we
a
were
tit.
talking about Pokemon Shield and Sword?
No, I thought we were talking about Pokemon North and
What
South.
about Pokemon Snap? Could be Pokemon BAP.
Just the next generation is just all different words for tits. There's Pokemon tit, Pokemon BAP, Pokemon breast, Pokemon booble,
Pokemon tip of the nips.
and it's all set in the areola region.
Hey, that one doesn't even need to go in the book. That was actually fun.
That was a good
That was
one.
good. That was good.
I'm only interested in the terrible ones.
That can be
Tom
at
Bailey
the,
laughed at that one.
That can be in the index at the back. Jokes that almost made the cut but were too good.
Zach Foley, if you're looking for head happenings this week, I fully expect that book to be on the front.
Hey, you're not his real dad. Tell him what to do.
Or am I?
What's been some video game news recently, fellas?
Well, there was Pokemon, which we just tried to talk about, and then promptly got distracted.
This is why we don't write games journalism, people.
Yeah.
We've got the Nintendo Lavo VR, so now you can experience virtual reality on the shitter going up your stairs.
Should we probably actually talk about Pokemon? Oh, we just that's it.
North and South and gun.
I really want Pokemon Gun to be a thing.
God, can you imagine?
I don't think it's really the cutesy image Nintendo usually goes for.
It's
but
too bad
we'll
we're
see
not
if they
better
branch out.
It's too bad we're not better at things because we could do a fan-made game.
Isn't there that Digimon that's like guns?
Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon, all the masters.
Let me find it. Hang on, because I've seen like a thing that takes the piss and wear about Pokemon. There it is.
Digimon loading their rifles. Digimon gonna shoot you.
So this is an actual Digimon called Deputymon. Have you guys seen this? This is an actual Digimon. If you're listening
Wow,
audibly,
I love it.
Google Deputymon. It's just chest a gun. His body is a gun. He's got like a black mage head, but instead of like a mage hat, it's a cowboy hat. And he's got arms and legs, and he's carrying 2 pistols.
That should be the American
I think
mascot
that's-
right there.
I reckon there's a sort of poster that Vivi would have on his wall, like a movie star that he idolized.
It does look like me. Now, I think that's actually one of the Googles which is safe that we've said in the past. So
Deputymon.
Provided that you Google properly. I'll put it in the
Yeah,
Twitch
this
chat
is
for
true.
people who want to
Google
see
safely. Oh wait, hang on, it gets worse. Oh my god, hang on, let me send you this.
Oh.
This is good. This is
Should we
Gundramon.
disclaimer don't
Hang
Google
on.
this? What's this one?
Gundramon.
He's got
Oh
guns.
my God.
He's got guns coming out of his guns.
Why has he got that like ass gun?
I like how there's 3 guns firing backwards.
You never know where the enemy might be. Shoot all around you.
I love it.
Eric, I've just noticed you've got Mega Man wallpaper on your stream.
Yeah. I changed it.
So you did.
Oh god. So anyway, Pokemon Sword and Shield. No gun Pokemon as far as I know.
This is the first actual Pokemon coming to consoles, like actual console, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Took them long enough.
I've got to say, right, disappointed is probably too strong of a word, but don't get me wrong, I wasn't expecting like Breath of the Wild style gameplay or anything like that, but I'm a bit disappointed that it still kind of looks that same almost sort of 3D, sort of 2D kind of thing. I mean, the graphics look great, don't get me wrong, It looks a hell of a lot better than... Because, like Pokemon Let's Go, because it was based on all of those old maps, it looked a bit flat. At least there's like some dynamic to it all in the new one. But yeah, I'm a little disappointed in that aspect.
Yeah, I watched the trailer, got a bit excited, then you said that, and I was like, oh, yeah, why didn't they kind of push it a bit more?
Because the thing is, despite the fact that most people do see the Switch as a mainly portable console, Nintendo don't. They see it as it is a home console that you can take portably. But it is, by all accounts, a home console. That is what it's designed for.
Yeah,
So,
Dan.
yeah.
Get a Pro Controller.
Already got one sitting
Oh,
behind
God,
me
I
right
used
now.
way too much.
What? What are you doing?
Getting Carmex in my teeth, apparently.
Carmex?
Carmex.
What does that do?
It's for your lips to make them sensual.
Mexicago.
It's called Caramex over here. He's just taking the A out.
Oh, God.
Hey, wait. You know we have that chocolate bar called a Caramac.
Yes.
Is
It's
it just
Carmac.
Carmac.
I still have one sitting on the stove downstairs, and I look at it every time. I can't wait to dig into this Carmac.
Oh yeah, we did get you one of those, didn't we?
You guys brought
anyway,
me so much shit.
Yep.
You know what I'm not looking forward to?
Including
those
Black Death. Enjoy.
I'm not looking forward to those Turkish delights.
Oh, I love Turkish
Oh,
Delight.
Hate Turkish Delight.
Oh, I love it, mate. Fries Turkish Delight in the little purple wrapper.
Yeah,
Dense.
I think it's the one.
Dense.
It's like eating just shitty bean curd.
Bean curd.
Yeah.
Mate, it's fucking jelly.
Yeah. Disgusting.
God damn
Who
it.
wants to just eat condensed jelly?
Me. Every day.
That's true.
So Pokemon.
I didn't
Pokemon
watch.
Gun.
I didn't watch the trailer until after you guys. I think it happened while I was at work, and then I just tuned in later on. But it was, yeah, I'm excited for it because, like we said before, it's the first core Pokemon game on a console, like on an actual home console, and. But maybe, yeah, I could. After what you said, Mike, I thought, man, maybe they could have pushed it a little bit more. Maybe they could have not Breath of the Wild-ized it, but like maybe gone for something a bit more grand.
I feel like they're playing it safe again as well. Like,
Yeah,
once again, the starters are a grass, a fire, and a water. And I get that there's reasons behind that. They all kind of in a cycle of, weak and strong against each other and things like that. But I don't know.
Yeah.
It feels like it's being played very safe, like Pokemon often does. And
yeah.
don't get me wrong, I'm probably going to get it day one, but my excitement isn't as high as it was.
Okay.
It's one of those games where I think I'm going to have to see a hell of a lot more trailers and to see what actual features are coming for me to properly get excited about it. But I'll probably get it.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you don't. Cause I don't think it uses the Go mechanic, does it, for catching?
No. Oh, speaking of like comparisons to Go,
Yeah.
it looks like the random encounters are back, and one of the best things about Let's Go is the fact that you can see the Pokemon in the wild, and I was hoping they'd keep that because especially, like I said, the Let's Go is based off of the old games. It's all very flat and it's all very square. Seeing the Pokemon in the wild makes that world feel so alive. And I think, for me personally, who's been playing Let's Go, going to the new ones, I think it's going to feel very empty.
I think as a whole, though, RPGs...
I think they're doing that to differentiate the two, though, because they're going to probably have these two brands now, aren't they? Let's face it.
Yeah, but I was hoping they'd learn from each other, you know?
They don't learn.
Apparently, they're going to be... the rumours I've heard is they're going to Let's Go-ify Gold and Silver, which I'm game for. Gold and Silver is my favourite generation.
Yeah, me too. I love those games.
I'm with you on that, though, Mike. RPGs have kind of progressed into that, seeing the enemies on the map. And it just, like you said, makes the world feel more alive, and you're not just like, okay, when's the next freaking random encounter going to pop up and get in my way? Because if you do want to steer clear of the enemies, you certainly can.
And there's that excitement as well. Like, I know you can get this from random encounters, but there's that excitement as well when you're playing Let's Go, for example. When you're going through certain areas, obviously a higher percentage of certain Pokemon will appear. You know, they constantly fucking Pidgeys flying around or Rattatas and all that stuff. And then, like, you've been in that area for quite a while, and then suddenly a Pokemon that just hasn't shown up at all just suddenly appears at the top right of the map. You're like, go get him! Ah! And you're going to lose that. Instead of that, you know, your screen goes... and then you get into there and you then get surprised by what it is. I know there's some excitement there, but I don't know. I'm a bit disappointed that they might, by the looks of things, they're not keeping that for sure.
What, the...
No! The keeping of the... You can see the Pokemon in the wild.
But are they keeping the...
I imagine so.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's got to be in there.
Good.
I'm excited for it. It's first home console Switch Pokemon for Switch. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. It's going to be the perfect platform for it. Take it on the shitter, Pokemon on the shitter, perfect, lovely.
I mean, you've always been able to do that with the portable consoles, but
yes, but it's bigger.
Yeah, true.
Oh, did you see that thing somebody posted in the Factory Seal chat about somebody who modded their TV so it had Switch Joy-Cons on the side?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, I looked at a giant
So
Switch.
cool.
It's like a 65-inch TV, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What, with massive Joy-Cons?
Well, it doesn't actually work.
He'd actually custom made these huge Joy-Cons to fit on the side, so it just looks like a giant Switch hanging on the wall.
No
Eric,
way.
I sense a new project for you.
Oh. I don't know if I have that type of commitment, and it doesn't involve putting holes in the wall.
Yeah, you own that house now, it's fine.
Well, I know. It doesn't involve putting holes.
Wait. Literally a few days before we came over, you were drilling unnecessary holes in your walls.
What I'm saying is that project doesn't involve putting holes in the wall, so I'm not interested.
Oh, sorry, I misheard.
Yeah.
It could do if you put the wooden frame against the wall and then accidentally go through it and then get holes in the wall.
That's true. I mean, I punched a bunch more holes in the wall this week and put more electrical in, and the house is still standing, so... Hey, I guess I'm a certified electrician.
This worries me greatly that this man is wiring his house.
It worries me, too.
Bear in mind, it's made of wood.
What else would it be made out of?
Bricks?
Bricks.
Mortar?
We have advanced
Actual
beyond
materials that might stand a sneeze. Yeah, he banned us from sneezing and farting while we were there.
I just banned you from pooping.
Careful! Don't sneeze or fart. The groundations will give way.
I should start a foundation laying company called Groundations.
You start a groundation instead.
The Groundation Foundation.
It helps small businesses get off the ground.
Have I ever told you guys about the construction company I saw around here once and what their slogan was? I can't remember if I've told this story before. Does it sound familiar?
No.
We say a lot of
So
dumb shit, so no.
Yeah, I was driving behind it, and their slogan was literally "satisfaction guaranteed with every erection."
Great.
Brilliant.
And I was like, that is just marvelous.
I remember seeing some builders once who, on the back of their overalls, it said, "Oh, what a feeling when you're putting up a ceiling." I remember I was driving through a place called Cambridge one day, and this new housing estate had been built, and they'd called it Halo, and there was this sign up on a lamppost which had like it said Halo and picture of a housing estate and like an arrow, and someone had actually gone to the effort to make a sign.
Mike, can you tell the story in 20 minutes when we get to our game of the week? Because it's a beautiful segue.
Oh, sorry.
Future segue.
But someone had gone to the effort to make a sign that looked almost identical to this sign and put it underneath it. Is it me you're looking for? It made like local news that someone had done it as well.
Did you see the news a couple of years ago where that guy was going around correcting signs when people had put apostrophes in the wrong places and things like that?
Didn't he get in a bunch of trouble for that?
He's the hero of our time. I do think you need to launch Groundation, Eric.
Groundation Foundation.
The Groundation Proclamation.
I can do it. What other gaming news? What else was announced or came out?
Nintendo Labo VR.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Can we all finally agree that the Nintendo Labo was a failure?
Yeah. Well, why would they be releasing more if it was a failure?
Huh?
Why would they be releasing more if it was a failure?
Because they're just trying to cram it down our throats. Like, this doesn't suck. Here, buy it. Use it. Buy it. It says Nintendo right there. Buy it.
I don't
also cost them absolutely feck all to make.
Yeah,
so
I don't think financially it was a failure.
Financially, it may not be, but you'd be hard-pressed to find anybody who continues to use it over a day afterward.
I don't know. My nephew got it for Christmas, and I haven't been around since. I know they built it. We're having some fun with it, but...
Hey, it looks like all of our video died.
Yeah.
Has it died?
Detected.
Oh, wait. There it is.
Oh, hey,
there we go.
Yes!
Yeah, did you see? People have been like doing. I've been taking the piss of the virtual reality thing already, and there's one where like you make a big labo of like a duck, and it's like see up the duck's arse, and it's holding up the giant duck.
I can't wait to see that VR in 720p 60 hertz. That's going to be an absolute train wreck.
Yeah, it's just like I don't think it even comes with a strap to keep the Switch on your head. I think you have to hold the whole
Did you see the one that looks like a
thing.
fucking elephant? Like you're holding onto the elephant's trunk and... Come on.
And you get a wind pedal, whatever a wind pedal is, I do not know.
To blow air in your face to create that extra level of immersion.
I wasn't aware of this.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
A wind pedal.
You know, like 100 or so years ago, we invented the fan. You could just sit in front of a fan. I'm sorry, the Labo is just dumb. I get who it's for and that it's neat, but it has no shelf life.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. Yeah, I do think it is quite dumb. Like I'm not here like trying to defend it, but like I do think financially, I think they did quite well out of it.
Yeah, because they're selling something that costs negative money. They just collect garbage, flatten it, and print Nintendo on it, and people are buying it.
Yep.
Kind of jealous, actually.
Why didn't we take that factory sealed VR level?
Factory sealed cardboard.
Yeah.
We could just sell boxes.
It still comes in the bubble wrap around the cardboard.
We ship it in boxes of styrofoam.
You're not allowed to open it.
Increasing our carbon footprint one sale at a time.
No, but other gaming news. You guys, have you been keeping up to date with this whole Microsoft thing with the all-digital Xbox One S?
Oh yes,
that's been coming out. So basically, it's pretty much all but confirmed by Microsoft at this point. But in Q1 this year, so obviously Q1 is April onwards. They are going to be releasing a Xbox One S without a disc drive. It's going to be digital only. I think it's going to be called the Xbox One S All Digital Edition.
Oh. So what they wanted to release initially with the Xbox One, when they first announced it, before the world went, no, we won't buy that.
Yeah, but Microsoft very different now. They've got Game Pass. See, I think it
could be a good streaming box. It could.
The thing is, right, so Microsoft at the moment, you know, they've got the whole xCloud project and everything like that at the moment that's coming in next generation and everything like that. The whole thing where you will be able to stream games to any device, so your phone, your laptop, your
Switch.
iPad, your Switch, yeah, if it comes in on there. I think this is a great idea because I think it's a good test run for it. Because over here, an Xbox One S is about £180 for a bundle at the moment.
Yeah, but the Xbox One S is barely above the 360 in quality. I mean, it's basically on par with the 360. It's trash.
But putting that aside, if you think that... So if you say it's 180 quid here, roughly, Xbox One S, if they can get that down to like either £99.99 or 120 quid, and then throw in like 3 months of Game Pass for free,
I would buy that.
Exactly. If you've got people who have
Definitely.
only got a PlayStation and a Switch at home who fancy the look of Game Pass or even the very few exclusives on Xbox, I think this is a brilliant idea. I think it's a great third console.
Or you could just
Heck
buy the
yeah.
One X and have a
No, I
superior
would-
machine.
I would buy the One S with digital only just for the Game Pass. Like, it is
I would
probably
as
the
well, I
best
think.
deal at the moment, isn't it? In gaming.
I wonder if next gen Sony is going to rethink how they do PS Now to compete with Game Pass, because they're just getting trounced.
I don't think
Yeah.
they will
Right.
because Sony's got the exclusives. They've got games people want to play.
Right, let's do some like quick napkin math here, right? Say you bought
Wipe it off
say you
with a
bought a
napkin.
normal Xbox. Yeah, exactly.
Is that the same
Say-
as napkin maths?
See,
Yeah,
he
but
said
I dropped
math.
the
He
S
said
for-
singular
I dropped
math.
the S.
That means
I dropped it for Eric. You know what? I did it on purpose so that Eric wouldn't bring it up, and then you fucking brought it up. Well done, Dan. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
Right. Say you bought. I don't know. Say average game here is somewhere between like, even if you buy second hand, you're talking like between 30 and 60 quid. So let's put that to 40. So 40 like you say you buy a game a month. That's 480 quid plus like the 180 for the console. You're talking 660 quid for the year. You could get a £100 console plus then 12 months of Game Pass, which over here is like 8 quid. I think it is. So that's then 196 quid.
Is that math right?
Yeah, exactly. There you go. I can't see it.
It's a napkin.
That's like 196 quid. So you're saving like £400 on a like year's worth of gaming for that.
What?
I'm with you, Mike. That's a good deal.
Yeah, exactly.
That is a very good deal.
I've certainly got
Basically,
my use out
basically
of it.
short version over here, roughly, you'd be looking like nearly 700 quid for a year's worth of gaming if you bought a game every month at about 40 quid. If you got the all digital one and just had Game Pass each month, you're talking like just under 200. I think it's great. I think it's a great idea.
It's a progressive idea.
It's all right.
It's the way things are inevitably going to
You're
go.
right, Microsoft.
But apparently Microsoft are also going to put Game Pass onto Switch.
Yeah.
How
yeah.
the hell is the licensing for that going to work?
I'm just so surprised it's going to happen. Like, traditionally they've always stayed away from each other.
Yeah. I'm not sure how that one really
Maybe
works,
Microsoft
but-
understands that they can't compete in terms of exclusive games and all of that sort of stuff that Sony seems to have the market cornered on.
Thing is, going back to kind of the maths side of it, so most consoles are generally sold at a loss, aren't they? Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if Microsoft can get Game Pass onto Switch, and obviously they'll be getting a cut of that, they'll be giving a certain cut to Nintendo. But if they're now making money from the Switch as well, makes financial sense to me.
It's the third-party games where I'm confused because if I have Game Pass on my Switch, I would just play third-party games through that if they were available.
bet you there's
rather than
gonna
buying
be-
the Switch copy.
Yeah.
And so I wonder where Nintendo win on this deal.
I don't think that they'll include those games on that version of Game Pass.
Okay. So you reckon there'll be like a specific SKU for Switch owners?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also the thing of depends what version of Game Pass we get on the Switch, because if it's the version that is how it is now, where you download it to your console, or it's going to be what we think the future version is going to be, where you'll be able to stream it, because obviously the Switch isn't going to be able to play a lot of those games that are on Game Pass natively. So if it ends up being the streamable version, you're not going to be able to play those games when you're out and about, not connected to Wi-Fi.
Or you'll just have to get yourself a bigger
Yeah.
SD card.
No, but I'm talking about there's going to be games
power-wise.
like the Switch is not going to be able to play Halo 5, for example. Just it's not going to be able to do it. Who knows? I could be wrong, but not without a graphical downgrade.
Yeah.
So what they
Yeah.
think the future of Game Pass is going to be as well is going to be the streamable thing. So you're just streaming the game to your console. You know, like how you can play Resident Evil 7 and Assassin's Creed Odyssey on the Switch in Japan at the moment because you just stream it. So all of the processing and everything is done elsewhere. It just streams to your console, and you can only do it over Wi-Fi.
Well, when's that big Google conference where they announced the Project Stream?
Oh, I know.
It's
It's
GDC, isn't it?
end of this month. I think it's like March 29th, I want to
it?
say.
GDC.
Apparently that
So
is
I wonder if we get a
exceptional.
Switch revision which includes data plans.
Ugh.
Ooh, yeah.
Because there is a rumoured Switch revision in the works, I believe.
Looking at how many revisions the DS consoles have had, I wouldn't be surprised.
As long as they don't do
They
some
love
stupid
revising
naming
the console.
nomenclature where it confuses everybody and thinks it's a new...
The new Nintendo Switch.
Oh, God.
The Nintendo Switch.
The Nintendo Switch BAP.
Gaming analysts predict Switch Pro and Switch Lite.
Ooh.
I would probably upgrade.
I would too, because...
I've become
might-
since getting my One X, I've become a right graphics snob.
So here's the prediction. The Switch
I
Lite...
just want it to have Bluetooth,
the
as in Bluetooth for headphones.
The Switch Lite is predicted to be $199 and have the same screen but Joy-Cons built into the body and no docking station. Since it can't switch
lovely.
from handheld to
fine.
console.
So it's not a Switch
Basically,
then.
it's basically how I play mine anyway.
Yeah, you should get a Pro controller. It'll really enhance it.
Yeah, I'll take the risk.
Let's see. I don't see what they
So that's the-
think the Pro would do. I don't know. There's no...
4K, I think, is the main thing.
That'd be a pretty...
It's still only going to be 4K.
Yeah, that'd be...
4K docked though.
Yeah, only 4K docked, I mean.
See what a great upgrade would be. Although to be fair, not a lot of Switch games, because you know how it's only 720 on the game screen, and then some games when you dock it, it becomes 1080p. Like not a lot of them don't actually hit 1080p. But if they could get the game screen when it's portable to be the same as when it's docked, that'd be good. Battery power would probably be the main thing on that though.
Yeah.
Probably...
I mean, that thing doesn't last as it is.
Probably larger internal memory, maybe more RAM. I don't know. I'm not sure what else they would do with it.
A full GTX
Probably
1080.
maybe they probably revise some of the hardware, like the little kickstand on the back is pretty shit.
And make it so that the
You can
screen
charge
doesn't
whilst
scratch
it's
when you put
standing.
it into the dock, that it doesn't warp when it gets hot. Basically,
Yeah.
just rebuild the
Probably
system.
be a good idea. Scrap it, do it again. Build it out of cardboard. We can sell it.
If they bring out an enhanced version and somewhere nearby does some sort of swap out your old Switch and pay a little bit extra to get the
Yeah,
new
they
one, I
won't do
probably
that.
would.
Oh yeah,
I don't know,
some third party would.
I think Game. Yeah, I think Game did it over here. I think like when the PlayStation 4 Pro came out, there was a thing where if you traded in your PlayStation 4 and then paid X amount, I think it was like 100, maybe 150 quid, you could upgrade to the Pro.
I didn't see that. I would have done
I'm
that.
sure they did. I could be making this up.
That doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound like game.
Don't know. I'm sure I saw it somewhere, but
I've seen that a lot in game where a new console comes out and as long as your original console is boxed, I think, or something, you can part exchange it.
Yeah. Tom, the best news that was in between shows though was the fact that Beat Saber is getting new music.
It's like I think it's 5 days now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Not
am
that
excited.
I'm counting down or anything. Yeah, Thursday. We've got 10 new tracks on Beat Saber coming out. I think it's
I wonder if they're going to fix
10...
the expert multiplayer scoreboard so you guys can see how good I am.
Yeah. Hopefully they
I
do
don't
some
believe. I
leaderboard
don't
stuff.
believe you. You got no scores on there.
I've
mate.
sent you
I don't
pictures of all of them.
They're also
Pictures.
Some people
Photoshopped.
photoshopped.
I don't know how to Photoshop.
they're refining.
Neither
the
do I, it
user
doesn't
interface
stop
as
me.
well. So it's
sorry,
all gonna
Tom.
look
What
a
were you
bit-
saying?
I was just saying they're refining the user interface as well, so it's a bit easier to understand and.
What's not to understand? You point and you click.
How stupid
They're
are
gonna
some
have.
people?
They're gonna
No,
have
so-
things on the bottom where it says like original
Yeah,
music and like
it's like
music
the
pack one
filtering.
and
Yeah, the filtering system was a little bit confusing, just where you can like switch. But so first of all, instead of sorting by all songs that you use both sabers or one saber or remove the arrows, you just select the song first and then the modifier. So it's
You
just
look
like
to the
makes a little
left,
bit
and
more
all of
user
your
sense.
options are right there. How hard?
I know, but it's
And then the
but-
picture
Man,
of the dude.
I forgot quite a few times that I've had faster song on when I've booted it up and then gone, the song went, shit!
Yes,
Yeah.
but you're an idiot.
Okay.
This is true.
One
Do
thing
not
I would-
confuse me with Eric, though.
What are they going to do for the single saber versus dual saber? I mean, it's a picture of a guy with one saber
I
and a guy with
know.
2 sabers. How hard
But
is that?
it makes more
It's-
user sense to have only one choice on the screen, and that is the song, and then you choose what you
We are
want.
doomed
Like,
as a society.
Have we
It's
not
not-
got a
it-
Darth Maul double saber mode yet?
They
just tape 'em together at the bottom?
No, you have
Yeah.
to buy. You have to buy a 3D printed like sheath thing that you slot
Duct tape
your
works
move
just
controllers
as well.
into. Or you
Oh,
can
has
use duct tape.
someone modded it already?
Yeah.
Tom, on
Yeah,
PC
you
version?
can buy. You can buy a 3D printed thing to make a Maul saber, but then what you do is you choose no arrows to start with, because then you don't have to like worry about directions, and you can just focus on technique for connecting with each box.
I
And
have
then
seen
you could
somebody
be
do it
Star
on
Wars kid.
I have seen somebody do it on YouTube, and it looks freaking amazing.
Yeah, it does look cool.
I love those clips where people have the augmented reality where they're actually
Yeah.
in Beat Saber and they playing the song. It's so
I
cool.
know. I don't know how they do it. It's pretty
It's
awesome.
something. It's called. It was called a Live Cube originally.
Oh.
And I think one YouTuber got a custom made, and it's like this kind of. So you surround yourself with green screen, I think, and then kind of
Yeah.
project it onto there.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's
So-
really cool.
So yeah, I think first music pack £10 or $10 or whatever for
I'll buy
10
it.
tracks on Thursday, and then they're going to release.
100% getting
I
it.
think they're going to release 3 to 5 free songs as well. If you don't fancy buying the pack, and then there's another pack coming out as well, I believe, later on in the year. So, yay!
This also
Excited.
not an ad.
Also not an ad. Yeah, I don't know why I felt like I had to give that
If
information.
you enter
but
the
I
code
just,
Factory Sealed, you get 20% off the Beat Saber music pack.
Just tap in the code word Reagan.
That's RAYGUN. Reagan.
And if you type in Ig-YOU-wana, you get 30% off.
oh my god! Yeah. Oh, dude, I'm beyond excited for that.
So,
Yeah.
I want to talk to you guys about Anthem.
Ugh,
What a hot mess.
do we have to?
Apparently, this has been bricking PS4s. Is that true?
So I just read something
And,
where
and Xboxes now as
a
well.
review was done, and it found no PS4s were actually bricked.
Yeah,
No
say some-
PS4s were
some
harmed
shit.
during the making of this.
But an Xbox, I believe Xbox had the issue where it was bricking consoles. So this
But
is
but the crashes it's doing, it's almost like the actual you know, like sometimes when your PlayStation crashes goes to the blue screen, the
Yeah.
actual crashes that Anthem causing, it's as if you just pulled the power cord out the back. Like it doesn't even go to a blue screen.
Oh my god, that's bad.
so this is my concern.
Well done, BioWare. Good
This
effort.
this is a scary look into what the potential future of gaming is going to look like.
Shit.
Games are going to come out and they're going to be so unbelievably broken that as we progress down the road, like Mike has pointed out a few different times, where unless you get a patch for a game like I did with Skyward Sword before they take that shop offline, you are stuck permanently with a broken game. And this game it basically wasn't even functional at launch.
Well, the thing is as well, like
Yeah.
this is that whole issue with games as a service anyway. The fact that like they release it sort of bare bones and then add to it and add to it and add to it, and those early adopters, I feel so fucking sorry for them, because there are people that get excited and want to do it. There's been a thing recently where someone pulled up the screenshots of some menus and stuff from Anthem when they've shown it off at like things like E3 and things like that, and like, for example, the helmets, just when you're customizing, like in these videos where people have paused it and got the screenshot, there's been like 20, 30 odd helmets, and then like in the game as it stands at the moment, there's like 1 or 2. It's
Yeah.
like the things that they showed that were going to be in the game just aren't there.
Or when you
Well,
get to that
people
main
like
hub
behind
world,
paywalls, won't it?
you get to that main hub world, and in the initial reveal trailer, NPCs were all over the place, and they were coming up to you and interacting. And then in the actual game, there's like 3 on screen and they just stand there and they have static dialogue, and it's not this dynamic experience and interaction. And I get that.
Out of palm, the delicious treat.
When you're trying to hype a game, you need to make it look as similar to what you would hope it looks like when it launches. Everything that you see at E3 is a very thin vertical slice of a game. It is in no way representative of what the final product is going to look like. It's
the prime example of that is Watch Dogs 1, where they showed this incredibly slick-looking E3 presentation. When it came out, it looked nothing like it.
If you want a really
Colonial
good
Marines.
Yeah. If you want a really good understanding of it, read that book, Blood, Sweat, and Pixels. Is that by Jason Schreier?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's incredible to read the history or the development of these certain games and how they prepare for E3, and they go, hey, this game is broken as shit, but we're going to take a very vertical slice and we're going to polish the hell out of this one spot. And more often than not,
Rock's going to take that piece of game, he's going to shine it up real nice, and he's going to shove it straight up your E3 conference!
TV.
That's a wrestling joke, Eric.
No,
I don't get it.
It's true. It's like so
Tom's the one in the wrestling top.
They'll work really hard on just this one little bit, and that's what they've definitely done with the Final Fantasy VII remake. That game, the illusion is that it looks really far along.
They're probably still on the title screen.
Really.
Why does Jess work? Does Jess work there?
He's the director.
There's a guy working on the title screen going, where does the F go in fantasy?
He's just staring at the screen and just going,
For God's sake, Bob, it's F, not PH. Not
this is the 15th meeting. No, we cannot change the title music to North Choral.
Can we call it Final Fantasy Bap, please?
But yes, Anthem is a great example of a once mighty studio shitting the bed.
I don't know.
Just like Bungie with Destiny.
The whole games of service thing, I don't get it myself. I'm not shitting on it. Like, there are a lot of fans out there. People get a lot of enjoyment out of this whole looter shooter thing. The game strategy being updated, always online, that sort of stuff. I can see the appeal. I can see why things like it. But it's just not for me. But my biggest gripe with it is this whole thing of these huge games are coming out, and they can take a year before they're even full of all the things that were promised. I'm sorry. I think Anthem was £50 here, brand new. Maybe 54, because we have this random pricing here where something it's like $53.99 or something like that. And if I had bought that day one and played it as it is, I would have been so disappointed, and this is why I do it. And I said to you guys the other day, I find the whole games of service thing stressful anyway, because I have very limited time to game, and there are people who will literally play these games of service, people with Destiny who, they're racking up 800 hours in it because that's all that they play, and they keep up to date with it. I feel the idea of trying to keep up with all of these updates and things that are going on with it, I find it personally stressful.
See, and typically that frustrates me too, and I'll give certain games a pass, like No Man's Sky. Yes, it was a hot turd when it came out, but it was a tiny developer. Obviously, he got wrapped up in the hype. His game was getting way more attention than he anticipated, and he just kept going, yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and not really understanding what it was going to take to implement any of that. But it was a small team, and 2 years later, his game is fantastic. This is BioWare backed by EA, who is massive. There's no reason that they should have bungled it this badly. I wanted Anthem to do well because it looked really cool. It looked like this is what Destiny should have been. And hopefully after 2 Destiny games, they would have learned and be like, hey, don't do that. Don't launch a game that has nothing in it. And that's exactly what they did.
Well, the interesting thing
is... for me... Sorry, Mike, you go.
I was going to say this is kind of slightly off top. The interesting thing is Bungie have now left. Was it Activision they were with?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've left. They're out on their own now. So Activision don't even... Yeah, because it's Activision Blizzard, isn't it, Destiny? Bungie are out by them now. Them and Activision have parted ways.
Interesting.
Well, there was all those layoffs at Blizzard too, so...
Yeah, so if there's... hopefully, when they do the next Destiny, obviously not for me, but the fans of it, there might be a lot of lessons learned, and also things that, because they're not being controlled by Activision, things that they can improve upon and stuff like that. Anyway, Dan, go on. Sorry.
All of it.
I liked it. I'll buy Destiny 3 when it comes out.
I won't. Even if you say it's good, I will not buy it. I was going to say for Anthem for me, I think it would be better if they just did it in the same vein as Mass Effect and turned it into and it should have been just a single player RPG experience, and because the gameplay and stuff looks spot on.
And have drop in, drop out co-op.
I remember being so hyped when I saw the very first trailer for Anthem. I was like, yeah, Iron Man. Fucking ace.
Basically.
Sci-fi shooter, you're flying around like Iron Man, I'm game. The moment I found out it was going to be like games as a service game, I was out. That's
when it lost me as well. It's just
same.
Those type of games I'm the same as you, Mike. I just don't think they're for me. I just don't understand how you can play the same game, which has incredibly repetitive gameplay, for like a year. And
it's almost like an addiction kind of thing, because the whole looter shooter thing is, I'll do this. Oh, get to that next level. Nice one. Right, I'm at that next level. Oh, I'm only far from unlocking this in-game loot box.
It's got to have a rewarding feel to it.
But Dan, here's the piece that you're missing about it, though, is that it's not so much about the game itself and what you're doing within the game. It's
the community.
The community and the people that you're playing with. When I played Destiny 2, and maybe this is why you and I had such wildly different experiences, every time I booted it up, I was playing with people that I knew. We were playing together, going through the game together. So yeah, we were enjoying the game, but it was also us spending time together as friends and talking and experiencing this world together. I could see trying to jump into it just by yourself and just play through it. You're like, yeah, this is boring. But if you play through it with a squad and enjoy it that way, it's much different. So I can see why games like this are highly appealing. Borderlands is very similar, because Borderlands is great to play by yourself, but when you play it with another person, it's infinitely better.
I can understand that. I mean, this is going to sound like I'm going completely off subject, but when we inevitably do Resident Evil 5 at some point for the show, I've never been that massive a fan of Resident Evil 5, but I've only ever played it single player. When we inevitably play Resident Evil 5 on this show, I want to play it through, all the way through, with one of you guys, probably Dan, because it's going to be easier time-wise. But you know, I know I'm probably going to enjoy it more. Yeah, but it's hard, isn't it, Eric? Like the way things are. All right, put your hand down. Put your hand down. Can we come off a video, please? No, but
pick me.
I know that, you know, I'm going to enjoy it more, I think, playing it through with somebody else, and that's the thing I've always heard about Resident Evil 5, and I can see, because I think that about that, I can see what Eric is trying to say about the online part of it.
Well, think about...
Like when we play Smash Brothers, like the four of us managed to get on to play Smash Brothers, it's always nicer to get on there and get a chat going on Discord, and the four of us kind of, you know, give each other shit.
That was great fun, actually.
Yeah. Take Apex, for example. Arguably the biggest game out right now. It's kind of unseating Fortnite and everything. It's fun, but when I jumped online and Tom and Scott and I were playing together, geez, it's just infinitely better, because it's kind of a repetitive game and the concept really isn't up my alley, but you're spending time with friends playing a game and just fucking around and having a good time.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's what it's all about with those games.
Until I've known you guys, I don't have many... I've never had that many friends who are into gaming as much as me.
Me either.
And I've
Crystal
never
doesn't
got
play
onto
games?
the online multiplayer thing.
No, funnily enough.
I've never really myself got into the online multiplayer thing because I hate going on and playing with randoms. I hate it.
I used to really enjoy that with Halo 3 and all of that.
Yeah.
Hey, before
look
I forget...
how much fun me and you used to have, Eric, where we used to play Blops and stuff like that, and Battlefield, like bunch of dudes in a GP, right?
Side note, before I forget, speaking of Crystal and video games, I proposed our girlfriend/wife Demon Souls challenge to Christy, and she's on board.
What's this again? Remind me. What?
So we're going to put the girls in front of Demon Souls and give them 1 hour to see who can get the furthest with zero help from us.
Okay.
Such a ridiculously difficult game.
I've never played it, so I won't be able to help her anyway.
It's not going to happen.
I predict Crystal gets to the top of the stairs when Dan goes, "Hey, Crystal, come here. I got to talk to you about something." She gets to the top of the stairs. "What do you want?" "Oh, I need you to play this game for me." "Fuck you. Go back to my BAP."
Packs her bags and she's gone.
Sounds about right.
So we can already fill in 4th place with Crystal.
We need to get Crystal on Twitch.
Call her in right now. Will she come in?
No.
Oh. Can you at least try?
She's getting toilet roll.
You're already sleeping on the couch in there anyway, so.
I'm not anymore.
Well, what's one more night? Anyway,
coming in.
back to where we were.
Games as a service.
Yes.
Destiny.
Anthem's
Yeah,
garbage.
It's just not for me. Like, and the thing is, I've looked at footage of Anthem. It looks repetitive for me, too repetitive for me. And I just going back to my whole thing about games as a service not being for me. You know, I picked up a game like God of War. Well, you guys said me God of War, but you know, you get God of War, you go in, you've got the full experience there. Yeah, okay, some single player games do come out a little bit broken. They do have to patch them, admittedly, but getting a bare bones essentially shooter and on the hope and premise that they're gonna, you know, fill it out, and you got to keep going back to it. I don't know, not for me. I've got a big enough backlog as it is without spending an entire year playing the same game over and over.
But in terms of games being broken, it's getting to the point where it feels bad to be an early adopter. Like sometimes I'm like, do I want to buy this now? Because it's like,
well, and it's it's giving you
we
pause for concern.
We come back a lot to Final Fantasy 15. Like that is an entirely different game now.
I know. That's
but
one
the
I do
difference
wish I'd
there is
waited.
that it wasn't broken when it came out. It was just different. It's evolved since then. You could play the original launched Final Fantasy 15 and be just fine.
But
the thing is, I feel sorry for people like Dan, who there's so much extra story and things change in that game now, where Dan has such a backlog. He has so many games he wants to play, new games that come out, things like that. And Final Fantasy 15 is there. The story's changed, things like that. He would have to play through the entire thing again, which means that he's then...
It's all right, mate. It'll only take me an hour.
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, I'm trying to use you as a good example here.
I don't have time.
You know,
to
the
play
game has
through it
completely
again.
changed. He hasn't got time to play through it again because there's all these other experiences that he wants to have, and I don't
like going
that's
outside.
particularly fair. Yeah.
Go to the cinema and stuff.
I understand maybe going back to, because I did it with Spider-Man. I went back and played the DLC parts. I get that, but I didn't have to go through and play through the entire game again to play those little DLC parts.
Yeah, because they
Things
didn't
they've
come out
changed
4
in
years later.
Yeah, but also the bits in Final Fantasy 15 for Dan, there's parts of the game that are completely changed.
I have the
like
official...
the awful, god-awful chapter where you play as Noctis in the corridor. Like, that's been completely
which
changed.
is terrible. And I have the full Final Fantasy 15 walkthrough, the printed guide, and that's surely totally irrelevant now. Yeah, I don't think that's actually going to really work. I think it's
it's like the Final Fantasy 9 guide where it didn't have any tips in it.
Go on,
Final Fantasy 9 one was just ahead of its time. They can update a webpage, can't they?
Yeah.
There you go. See, it wasn't shit. It was ahead of its time.
Is Play Online still?
No, it's not. We've checked. I checked during the Final Fantasy 9 episodes. I was like, no, it's not. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, no, I'd quite like to play all of that again because there's... Yeah, no, I guess not. I don't want to spoil.
I'd quite like to play it again. It was to be fair, it was a very, very good game when it came out. And
there's so many plot holes that I wish that are now filled. Which
did you watch Kingsglaive before you played it though?
Not before I played it. After.
What a good movie!
I don't think that filled so much of it in. I don't think it did.
No, it didn't fill in the story gaps, but it helped prep you for here's what the hell's going on.
Sort of a prologue. It was quite a good prologue.
It was such a good movie.
But you shouldn't really have to watch a movie to play a game.
You don't have to, but it just helps you understand. It's like watching Advent Children to figure out what happened after Final Fantasy VII. And then playing Crisis Core to figure out what the hell happened before playing Final Fantasy VII.
I actually saw a comparison. Somebody was comparing the new DMC5 to Advent Children, saying, look, the CG in Devil May Cry 5 looks better than Advent Children did now. Like,
Jesus.
Isn't that amazing?
That is,
like, to be fair, judging by Resident Evil 2, Capcom's facial animations and things are perhaps one of the best in the business right now.
Man, Capcom were generally killing it recently. I mean, Monster Hunter World was like their biggest selling game ever.
Yeah.
You know, Resident Evil 7, the remake of Resident Evil 2, like DMC5's IGN gave DMC5 a 9.5 out of 10. Like Jim Sterling even said it's the best DMC ever.
If Sekiro wasn't coming out,
he hates publicly liking things.
He does.
If Sekiro wasn't coming out next week, I would probably pick up DMC5.
Yeah, I said this to you guys. I don't think you maybe acknowledge the message, but DMC5 over here is cheaper than full price games, and I do not understand why.
Yeah, that
is
is weird.
Strange.
That is weird because it's the same price here as everything else.
Yeah.
Are you picking up then? Because you quite like DMC, don't you?
Yeah, I've got that. I've still got a backlog from Christmas, so I'm trying to avoid things, and I don't know. I might pick up Sekiro like Eric. So
I thought you put some of that backlog in Eric's toilet when you were in America.
a lot of it. That's the only reason I went to America, to block Eric's shit.
Just to drop a log.
Get through the
It's like,
backlog.
how much can I eat in the airport and on the plane before I get there?
You did seem a bit disinterested in the entire trip after that moment. No, I'm joking.
I can't live up to this now.
Bullshit. I love that. I love that trip. Take me back.
It's because you got to spend all that time with me, Dan.
I know.
And Ratchet.
Yeah, you now like
Love
cats.
that guy.
Well,
Love that
I
guy.
keep you updated with cat facts.
You do, actually. You're pretty consistent with that at the moment.
Tom, you need to start a series, but with cat.
Yeah, I will.
Oh, please
That's a
do
great idea.
that. Please do.
That's a great idea. I'm going to do
She's
it.
probably
I'm
not
do
going to
it.
enjoy having
find
her
it-
picture anonymously taken.
She's going to hate it, but I'm still
Find
going
it
to
in
do it.
find her in the most ridiculous situations you can.
So, context to this. Everybody really missed Ratchet when they went home, so we changed our Arizona Bitches group chat to just cat space, and it turned into a place where Mike and I just share pictures of Mickey and Ratchet back and forth. And I decided to start going with cat facts and just ridiculously stupid shit when I take pictures of Ratchet. Trying to find some of them here. You know,
Brightens up the mornings.
yeah, like bedtime cat fact. Cats believe they should be the main character of every bedtime story, even the ones about dogs. And it's a picture of Ratchet stuffing his face through a book when the girls are trying to read their nighttime story, or just stupid shit. Oh, the one about cats are excellent pianists. When Ratchet's doing his little kneading thing on my neck. Just stupid shit like that, yeah.
Nice.
Dear.
He did that to me actually while I was there, but on my stomach. He was just going.
Wait till he has his
Prodding
claws
away.
and does it.
Yeah, Felix got me with the claws. He's evil, that one.
Yeah.
Oh, I think he's underappreciated.
That cat can fling some boogers. I was really trying to capture that video for you guys.
I've never seen a cat sneeze so much, poor little lad.
Oh, that was
No.
nothing. When he gets into like his full fit, like his one paw comes up and he starts doing this, and shortly after that I missed it. He flung out a booger. It was probably 3 or 4 inches long, and it landed on the back of his head. And he couldn't get it, like he's trying to lick it, and then he shook his head and it went onto the ground. And then he just kind of like looks at it, and I'm sitting there going, well, you gonna eat it? And he walks right over to it and laps it up.
Oh my god.
Christy and I were just gagging. It's like, this cat is so gross. And he gets really, really congested, and he lays on the couch behind us, and he'll do his little... And we just grab him and throw him off, because I've been woken up in the middle of the night with boogers hitting my face. It's disgusting.
Yeah, that was me when I was in America, mate. Sorry.
Oh, God. Dan just coming in and farmer blowing all over the place. Do you guys know?
Black Death for you.
No. Should
Hey,
we...
Eric,
What?
Tom.
What?
Sad times, y'all.
What's
What?
that?
They've officially ceased Vita production.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
I
it's
know.
dead.
That's sad.
Yeah, he's dead.
Or
The little-
RIP.
I think
He's
you're
on-
going to see the
he's-
price of those OLED ones go up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad I grabbed one when I did.
The life support's been switched off.
What a phenomenal handheld system.
I love the Vita.
Sony
It's
did
very
not
cool.
do the Vita any favors by just
No.
not putting games on it.
They should have
Yeah.
just. Tom said it before. They should have just got rid. If they got rid of that backpad and put like actual proper L2 R2 buttons on,
Yeah.
you said maybe get rid of the touchscreen. No, the touchscreen is a nice
Yeah.
feature. But you know, I think it just.
I
It
get
was
rid
a
of the
victim
cameras.
of kind of stuff like that. Yeah, victim of stuff like that, but also I suppose it was a victim in the rise of mobile gaming.
It's a victim
as
of
well.
how damn expensive
Yeah.
that thing was.
Oh yeah, that's true.
The memory card was a bad
I bought it when it
idea.
first came out and paid $300 for it.
Yeah, and they never really went down much in
No.
price.
Nope.
At all. I didn't understand why they wouldn't just try and push hardware out and get people buying games for it, because if you look at the attach rate for people that own Vitas and buy games, it's like really consistent. Like, people who are into the Vita are hardcore gamers that buy games, and it's just such a shame, because they proved how cool the system was with things like Uncharted Golden Abyss, Killzone, Mercenaries, I think it is for
Yep.
the yep,
Tearaway.
Tearaway, Gravity Rush.
Yep.
There's like a lot of really
Persona
solid
4.
first party games. Persona 4 Golden, you still can't get that on any other system, I don't think.
I know.
I
I
think-
really want to play that.
I think Sony's true folly with the Vita was the fact that they went with a proprietary memory card. Flash
That's-
media is
yeah.
so damn cheap. They
Yeah.
could have just used
Well, that-
micro SD
they-
cards.
They were so concerned about pirating, weren't they? Because the PSP,
Oh yeah.
became the pirating system, didn't it? But ironically, I mean, cuff me now if you want, because I'm a sinner. Admittedly, I bought my Vita to mainly emulate on,
Yeah.
and that is what I use it for. So they didn't stop it happening.
Yeah, you can never really stop that stuff. So you should just
Embrace it.
just run with it, embrace it. Yeah.
I don't think I've played an actual Vita game on my Vita yet.
Oh,
Oh. Ooh.
you're missing
Yeah,
out.
and it became a great.
I have some on there. I've just not played them. I've got Uncharted on there. I think I've got Persona 4 Golden on there as well. I've just not booted them up.
I know you can
You
play
have to-
Tearaway on PS4, but it is
Yeah.
way better experienced on the Vita.
Yeah,
Yes.
they gave it away on PS Plus. I gave it a go, and I wasn't massive.
yeah,
on it,
I didn't like it.
It's so much better on the Vita because the back touchpad
Yeah.
actually interacts with things, so you can tap the back and it'll bounce your character up into the sky, and just a lot of the touchscreen features of it have been stripped out.
So that's what I loved about Astrobot, where you had like the controller was part of the world and things like
Yeah.
that. It was just so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, have you noticed as well? They've updated the PS4 this week so that your PS4 Remote Play now works on iOS.
Yeah,
I
I
have
But
it.
it's all touch screen controls though. You can't.
You can get a
sync
Bluetooth
PS4
controller.
to it.
You can get a Bluetooth
Yeah, wait.
controller to sync to it.
Oh,
Yeah,
can
you can.
Don't you have to buy a thing though?
Not for
peripheral
well, your
for it?
PlayStation one, but you can get like a Steel Series Bluetooth controller for your PC or something like that and sync it with.
Oh
it.
yeah. But I mean, if you're just gonna straight up just use the tablet though, and without any control or anything, it's a bit of a pain in the arse.
You need to
I don't-
download that.
Yeah, that is neat. I
Tell you what's an interesting thing with remote play is I can remote play because obviously you remote play to your Vita. I can remote play my PS4. Now I can't update my Vita to the most recent software because
Oh yeah.
with me having it so I can emulate and everything. Because if I do it, it'll ruin all of that. But I can use the play on the online play, cross play, whatever you fucking call it. I've forgotten the words. For PS4, but it won't let me do it on PS3 without updating the software on the system, which is really strange. Yeah.
That's annoying. Yeah, it's such a neat idea, and remote play actually works really well.
It would have been a lot better had they had actual analog L2R2s.
I know.
Trying to
Well, I
play-
have that grip that like adds them on, and that works.
Yeah.
And I've used remote play a few times. Just while like I want to go and sit in bed and play on a console, but I also want to play my PS4. I've done remote play a few times upstairs, just on there, and yeah, having the grip and having actual L2R2 buttons on the grip, it works. Works perfectly fine.
Yeah. No, it's neat. But actually, I think if you were to jump on the PSN now, there's still like a couple of Vita games coming out every week. Still a few indie titles out and about.
There's still quite a few crossplay stuff you get with PS Plus.
No,
Yeah. Yeah.
this month was the last month that any Vita games were going to be supported.
No,
or given away.
no, I know that.
Yeah.
Like March was the last time you got a Vita or actual Vita or PS3 game. But if you look closely, some of the PS4 games we're getting are still crossplay on your Vita, so they still work on your Vita.
See, I
So
wonder
even-
if the standard of PS Plus is going to go up now, because I think this month's pretty decent. Last month was alright as well.
I don't think it will, because have you noticed as soon as they got rid of the PS3 and Vita games, the cloud storage went up. It went from like 20 gig up to 100.
Yeah, but at the same time, we got The Witness and Call of Duty this month, so
Yeah, I suppose, but are they just trying to keep us sweet?
possibly.
We'll see. But I thought that maybe them upping the cloud storage is their kind of...
I thought maybe they would change it so that we would get at least one VR game a month. I thought that would have been pretty cool. Because there's
that
loads.
would be good. Yeah,
There's
I just
plenty
don't know
of-
how to choose when I'm looking through. I'm like, is this good? Because
Yeah,
there's so
it's-
few
yeah.
reviews on the internet of VR games.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I think you just have to take a look at the trailer on PSN and take a bit of a gamble. But the thing is that what you're saying about giving away VR games, they have given away VR games in the past. Like they gave away Until Dawn Rush of Blood for VR
did.
Yeah.
for free. And Here They Lie, which I played half of, and that was pretty good. But if you imagine that you're a gamer who's kind of on the fence about getting PSVR, if you were getting a free VR game every month and then like you got towards the end of like the year and there's like a bundle of VR for free and you think, well, actually I've already got like a load of games for free what I've got on PS Plus. so it's worth me getting. Oh,
Yeah,
Mate, all you
that's
need for PSVR is Beat Saber. So
Yeah.
I still haven't booted a Moss.
Oh, Moss is
I
great.
booted it up, but
I started it.
I bought Skyrim VR, which is an experience.
It's a
still want to
headache.
get
It's
super
a
hot.
nausea-inducing headache.
No lollygagging!
I find it fine, Eric. To be honest, it's just
I don't
it's
want
just
to
proper
spend.
junky.
Yeah, I don't want to spend 100 hours in it.
It's really cool though.
What's that?
Just to be-
Oh,
just to be-
Skyrim. Okay.
Just to be inside Skyrim. Wasn't a fan of the big spiders though. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Guys, should we
I was
get
like- I was-
to our game of the week?
We should.
Game of the week.
Exclusive. Factory seal.
I was really sad that Dan wasn't on last week when I recorded that for you, Eric.
I still played it though. I still played it.
I know. I sent a message to Eric now just saying, can I record you something to annoy Dan with on the show?
I love the game of the week.
He says now.
Yeah, we should get to it.
So this was Tom's choice. So I'm going to let Tom introduce
World
it.
premiere.
Thomas
World premiere Halo. Yeah, we played Halo Combat Evolved.
Never heard of it.
Right. Launch title for the original Microsoft Xbox. And probably, I think we've talked about this before, but arguably the most important game to appear on a Microsoft console,
It's the reason the Xbox is still
as
here.
it has spanned across the three consoles, and it's everyone's always pumped for a new Halo game. So kind of put the Xbox console on the map, and people, myself included, bought an original Xbox just for this game. And at the time when it first came out, I was playing a lot of first-person shooters on PC because there was no way I was going to swap mouse and keyboard for a controller. But Halo is definitely one of those games that kind of refined controlling FPS on a console by using obviously the dual analog sticks and really absolutely nailing that. I mean, we had things like Time Splitters and obviously GoldenEye on the N64, so there's a lot of good FPS
Love Time Splitters
on console.
Such a good game.
But Halo was really took it one step further, and the introduction of multiplayer, local multiplayer, and suddenly PC gamers were definitely a little bit looking over the fence, hang on a minute, those console guys, they've got Halo, and this looks really good.
Well, wasn't there a little while where it seemed like PC gaming was going to the wayside?
Yeah.
And it's only kind of since really the emergence of Steam and things like that PC gaming has really come to the forefront.
Well, I think
again.
what happened was...
I have no basis for this. I'm kind of pulling this out of my arse, but I suppose you could argue that Halo kind of contributed towards that almost sort of death of PC gaming in a way.
Well, I think what was happening
Yeah.
is that PC gaming was advancing to the point where the hardware was more expensive than the average gaming consumer could afford, and that's where consoles came in because it was this affordable box that you could just...
Unless you bought the PS3 at launch, obviously.
Yeah, well, it may not have been as graphically impressive as the PC counterpart, but it was still accessible and affordable.
That's exactly the word to use. Accessible. With PC, there was always this do I have the right? Do I have the system requirements for it? Because an FPS is really important for frame rates and timing.
This is what puts me off PC gaming to this day. I'm like, what do I need? It's I can't.
Well, and that's
I
when,
was really into it. I mean, I played tons of PC games in the 90s. I was into Doom, Quake, Unreal Tournament, Counter-Strike, Half-Life.
but you
I
could
played them
play
all,
all
and
of
I
those
loved-
with a stock computer. You didn't need
Yeah.
additional graphics cards and processors and all that fun stuff.
Yeah,
So
not
once
so
you
much.
started
It
needing
was-
to upgrade all that crap, I didn't upgrade my computer with an external graphics or a secondary graphics card until 2005.
Yeah, I think I had one in around that time as well. Actually, the whatever ATI or GeForce was the one.
I think
to
I
get
paid
at the time.
$74 for it in college, and it just infinitely made everything better.
Exactly.
But now you're paying
now-
$1,200, $1,300 to get a top-of-the-line graphics card, which is just insane. So
Yeah.
people who aren't hardcore gamers and want the best of the best in terms of resolution and frame rate, they don't care. They're not going to spend that.
Yeah, I mean, I've discussed this on the show before. I enjoy... Well, this is going to contradict all that discussion we had earlier about games not working, but, you sit down, your console works.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't enjoy having to figure out, am I going to have to sort this out or sort this out to get this game running? And I know things like Steam and other shops like that have kind of eliminated that to a degree, but there still are problems, and, you know, knowing things are going to run. And plus, I just don't enjoy sitting at a PC to play games. So
No, I like to lounge.
That's why you got to get the
Yeah.
Steam Link.
lounge like an Ig-YOU-wana.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes total sense. I think at the time, the reason I played so much PC gaming was we didn't actually have the online infrastructure on consoles yet, and I played a lot of Counter-Strike and Half-Life online.
Yep.
And it was better with mouse and keyboard, and it still is today. If you want to play competitively, or you're quite serious about it, then yeah, you want to have mouse and keyboard and be at a powerful PC.
And a lot of people will say that Halo was the first one to kind of master and introduce the dual joystick method of movement for first person shooters, but it was actually a PS1 game, Alien Resurrection.
I wouldn't discount that there's others before that had done it, but I think
I remember that game
was-
being really fucking hard.
I don't think I ever played that.
Resurrection.
I only remember
I've played
Alien
it.
Trilogy on PS1. I don't remember Alien Resurrection.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I remember that being really fucking hard, if I remember rightly.
But Alien Resurrection was kind of touted
But
as
was
this
it
game
good?
that had it not had the dual joystick style of movement, it would have been crap. But that kind of
Yeah.
salvaged it.
Oh, interesting.
What I really can't believe about Halo is it's nearly 20 years old. This
know, that
game
makes me feel
Isn't
so
that
old.
insane?
Yeah, it is
I actually
crazy.
didn't buy an Xbox for Halo when it first came out. I bought it for
Project Gotham Racing.
Oddworld Munch's Odyssey.
Oh,
yeah,
great
of
game.
course.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
went on
think I got my
vacation.
Xbox for that as well, you know.
I went on vacation to New York City, and I took a bunch of money with me, and I refused to spend any of it. And my mom's like, "Why aren't you buying anything?" Like, "'Cause I want to buy an Xbox when I get home." And she's like, "You're in New York City, buy stuff." I'm like, "No." So we stopped at I think it was a Funko Land or an EB Games or something like that, and I found Munch's Odyssey in a bargain bin for $15. So I bought it. I'm like, "See, Mom, I have this game now. When I get home, I have to have a console to play it on, so I'm not spending any more of my money." So I carried her on this stupid copy of Munch's Odyssey for a week and a half.
Oh my god.
Probably should have put it in your suitcase, mate. Would have made life easier.
No, I kept it in my pants.
See, Tom didn't laugh at that, Dan.
And I actually
Can't master a
didn't
dad
even
joke.
Yeah.
play
Gotta be from
Halo.
you.
I didn't even play Halo for quite a while after I had my Xbox. I went to visit a buddy that had moved across the state, and he's like, "Dude, you got to play this game." So we had a bunch of friends come over, and we all played it, and that was that. It just kind of became this phenomenon within our circle of friends. That I was talking a little bit about this in our group chat, that if I sat down and objectively thought about it, Halo is probably one of the most important franchises in my gaming life. Just for, not in terms of like being the best game I ever played, but just how impactful it was and the memories tied to that game, and my formative years and all of my friends playing it. It's definitely up there with Mega Man and all the other stuff like that.
I think it has this
Mega.
legacy with its multiplayer for sure, because I remember just hearing about Halo and people talking about, oh yeah, you can both get into a warthog and just drive around, and there's like your friends are also doing the same thing, and you're just having all these different like conflicts on these huge sprawling maps. And also people were coming up with ideas. It was almost a bit sandbox like, where you would use grenades to boost yourself around, like trying to almost like kind of not break the game, but like access areas that you
jumping,
couldn't.
yeah.
And then
Yeah,
rocket
grenade
launcher
jumping, like, all-
jumping and
I
Yeah,
could never
and
do
so-
that. I just used to blow myself up all the time.
well, and
Then to compare it to today, it's like today people put up videos on Call of Duty of like no scoping, or like accessing, or like throwing a knife from one end of the map and hitting someone on the head to the other side. Like this was Halo in 2001. People were trying to do similar stuff and talking about it at school. Like people talked a lot about Halo.
we had basically every Friday or Saturday just a standing LAN party night. And LAN parties were a huge thing in the 90s and early 2000s, where you just lug your computer over, and that was a pain in the ass. Now you could just bring an Xbox and just sit down, and as long as you had a TV to connect it to and a patch cable, you were good to go. And we would, it got to the point where we had full 16 people every weekend come over, and then it was like, okay, how can we link as many Xboxes together as possible? And I think at one point we had we had it set up so that we just had 2 people per TV and 8 Xboxes hooked up together, and it just that was high school. That's all we played.
Yeah. Yeah, it was quite a phenomenon at the time. Its legacy is definitely in the multiplayer. As good as the campaign is, with some of its issues with level design in the latter 50% of the game, and its repetitive nature, it's definitely, its heart is in the multiplayer.
Well,
and I just think that's where you wouldn't have COD, modern day COD, without it, and other similar games.
What's crazy is that the multiplayer is basically an afterthought, and it was damn near scrapped right before launch because it just wasn't
God,
coming
imagine
together.
that nowadays. It's like an integral part.
Well,
for
shared
me,
go ahead.
yeah, I was going to say, like, I didn't really play the multiplayer until Halo 2, I don't think. And that's when I got Xbox Live. Or was it Halo 3? I can't remember. I have very fond memories of being at university and playing split screen with my flatmates.
Yeah.
Halo 3 on this huge CRT TV. It was a great time.
So
see,
nice.
I'm coming into this. I'm going to be the odd one out here. I never owned an Xbox console until I got my X recently, and Halo is just one of those franchises that I've never really touched. I've played, like, I don't know,
Dirty boy.
10 minutes or so of the original Halo when, like, a friend of mine got an Xbox and I wanted to have a quick go on his Xbox because they were brand new at the time, and I thought I played a little bit of Halo multiplayer, like of the first one, when I lived in this house in college, but I've realised now, because obviously Halo 1 didn't have the online multiplayer, it was actually Halo 2 I played a little bit of multiplayer on with some friends. And that's pretty much my only experience of this. So I'm coming into this completely new to Halo in a way.
See, and Halo is really interesting because it kind of segments off different major milestones in my life. Like Halo 1 was high school, and then Halo 2 was my freshman year in college, and like kind of transitioning into this being an adult sort of thing.
When you grew pubes.
Yeah, exactly. I was living across the state, and I didn't get to go home all
Thanks,
that
Tom.
often. And Halo 2,
give him long enough, he eventually giggles.
Halo 2 came out, and a bunch of us skipped school for 3 or 4 straight days. We just didn't go to class because we all went out and we bought Halo, and I was the only one that was able to get my Xbox past the network to go out to Xbox Live. So everybody would route through my router in my room to kick out to Xbox Live, and we'd have all these Xbox Live Halo 2 parties and stuff like that. And then Halo 3 came out with the multiplayer when I was living on my own back in La Crosse and living with Ben and just kind of that next chapter, and that's when we played all of this stuff online the majority of the time. But Tom's right, it's just the legacy lives on in the multiplayer, and it's just something that as I was playing through this, I'm just thinking back going, Jesus, this game was just massive in my life.
Yeah,
it's interesting you said about the online bit nearly being scrapped, Eric. Something I'm looking at here. Let me see. The game launched before Xbox Live was implemented, so online play was not an option. However, multiplayer could be achieved on LAN network using System Link feature. This functionality almost got cut at the last minute. Bungie had to bring in a multiplayer developer who was working on Oni in order to fix the multiplayer components. Yep. So in the end, Oni never had multiplayer capabilities of any kind, and System Link on Halo is one of Halo's most popular features. But yeah, they had to bring in like an outside source to try and sort it out.
Wow. So Bungie themselves, they were an independent studio. They were best known for their game Myth. Myth and Myth 2, and then they started developing Halo. And I guess I'd completely forgotten this, that Halo was introduced to the world at a Macworld convention by Steve Jobs. And it was originally running
It's crazy.
OpenGL.
yeah.
I shared the link with you guys to the original Halo announcement, and if you watch that, it is a hot pile of garbage compared to what it is now. But at that time, in, what was it, 98, 99? It was incredible to see something like that running in real time. And so I sent you this article, and I'll share it out on the Facebook group. But it's the complete untold history of Halo, and it's this huge 3-part series told by the people who were there developing the game. And essentially, Halo never would have gotten off the ground without Steve Jobs. So they took this tech demo in, and one of the guys that worked for them used to work for Apple and had a friend that essentially introduced him to Steve Jobs and said, get us in front of him. Brought him in and showed him this really quick flash demo, and Steve looks at the guy and goes, yeah, but at Pixar we can... So they were showing like a lens flare and a sun flying across the screen or something like that, and it looked really cool. And Steve looks at him and goes, yeah, but at Pixar we can animate 1,000 of those at once. And the guy showing him looks at him and goes, yeah, but can you do it in real time? And Steve's response was, okay, you're hired. And then that's how Halo got off the ground, and they got their funding for it. But
it started off as a real-time strategy game at first, didn't it?
Yeah.
It was also a third-person shooter for the longest time too.
Wasn't it originally shown at E3 as a third person?
No.
It's the very first time. I'm sure I read that somewhere just before it came online. I'll see if I can find it somewhere. Hang on.
I think it was shown somewhere as a third person. I think you're right. But it was for the longest time, and I can't remember the reason for switching it.
Well, the original title of the game was Monkey Nuts.
Oh, yeah.
So essentially,
should have kept it.
One of the first,
My microphone's gone.
one of the first things that they did was they developed the Warthog and this big open sprawling terrain to be able to drive around. And initially, the AI was driving you. And then they decided, okay, hey, let's jump into this thing. And they discovered how much fun this Warthog was to drive. And I'll argue that the Warthog is one of the most entertaining vehicles in all video games to drive.
Here you go. Put you off your talking, Eric. Here you go. Here's the E3 2000 first full trailer where it was a third-person shooter.
Oh,
See,
wow.
Eric, I would argue
okay.
that the Ghost or the Banshee is my personal favourite.
See, I just like
the Ghost.
We'll get into that later, but I like the Warthog because you can just whip that tail around, and when you have other dudes in there and you have a good driver and a good gunner, it's a freaking blast.
Bunch of dudes
In a Warthog. But yeah, Tom, you're right. It started out as that top-down isometric because that's what Myth was. And then they discovered, okay, this is really cool. We need to bring this down. And none of the real-time strategy games had incorporated sort of free-flowing vehicle movement where you could hop in and drive wherever you wanted. Everything was sort of pre-scripted, or you click here and the vehicle drives itself. So then they thought, well, hey, let's try to bridge this gap of real-time strategy versus some sort of shooter. And then they started playing around with the Warthog and like, well, maybe we should make a racing game, so let's focus on this. And it just was this weird nebulous thing that never really took form until about 9 months before it needed to be shipped. And that's when they really kind of cracked down, like, oh shit, we got to actually make a game out of this thing. Because then Microsoft approached them. They were going, Bungie was going broke. They essentially needed an infusion of cash. And a lot of these other developers were coming to him and saying, hey, we'll pay you in stock, and we're going to do an IPO, and you'll be rich. And then they would just ghost on them and disappear. And basically they teamed up with Microsoft. Microsoft acquired Bungie, and that's how Halo went from being ready to be launched on the Mac to basically being responsible for Xbox being in the console market.
It is one of those games that's just so iconic and systematic with a brand. In the same way like Mario is with Nintendo, you think Microsoft, you think Master Chief, don't you?
Yep,
exactly.
Well, and that's the thing. Go ahead, Tom.
No, I was just gonna literally just add to it that it's. I always like listening to or reading like stories about how a game has come to be and how it was developed and all the peaks and troughs that they've kind of gone through. And it's especially interesting for games like Halo. First of all, due to the success of it later on and the lasting legacy, but also because this was going to be coming out for a launch system, and obviously originally on the Mac. So it's like, and by a studio that has put out a game or two before, but they're trying something new, and it's like it could go any way. I mean, even just right up to the point of the multiplayer almost being scrapped.
Yeah,
and that's
I do remember being jealous of X because I was a PS2 man through and through. And I do remember the news that Microsoft were going to release the Xbox, and then I remember personally when they showed off the first Xbox system, the actual console itself. I think it looked dumb. It's got its charm now, to be fair, when you look at it. But I remember thinking, is that it? That's what they're doing? It looks a bit strange.
I mean, the PS2's got the little PlayStation symbol on the drawer you can twist, so when it's vertical,
yeah, exactly.
It looks right.
Didn't have that, did it? But I mean, I remember being jealous of Halo. despite never really properly played it, I remember being jealous, like looking at it and go, "Wow, that looks great." And that's me, who's not really into first-person shooters either.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I remember when the Xbox console was revealed, and we were kind of like that horrible-looking green on the top and everything, and we all
really
kind of
big fat chunky controller.
We all kind of made fun of it a little bit. Like I remember, we were just like, and the name Xbox, it just was a bit like this kind of is a bit cringe, and it was not as cool as our Japanese PlayStations, right? Like,
To be honest, I've always found the name PlayStation dumb. The station of play.
I'm going to play on this station. I love it. I think it's great.
I remember that era of the Xbox coming out as well. Bear in mind, I was quite young at the time, but it was kind of everything was dominated by Sony and Nintendo, and just for some other company to come out with a video game console seems so alien and so strange.
And an American company too.
Well, because Sega had just exited the console market recently too. So for another person to be like, "Oh, hey, the mighty Sega just fell. All right, let's give this a shot."
But let's face it, since then, nothing else like that has happened. No major rival is came.
Watch this space with Google.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if that happens, then it'll be so strange because we've had this person race between Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft ever since this
Triforce
era.
of video games.
Well, and I think you know, Dan, you've got a point there too. Is that it was. Microsoft is this mighty company and arguably one of the largest companies in the world next to Apple. And at the time, you'd think, okay, hey, anything they're going to put out is going to be gold. But they were going up against these industry titans. And honestly, it's sort of an underdog.
With the PS2 at the time as well. You know, arguably the greatest console of all time.
Yeah, PS2 was just crushing it. And coming off the heels of the N64 was the GameCube. And that was just slated for success. And here they were like, hey, it's us. You know us from Windows 95 and 98, and hopefully you'll forget Windows ME, but we're going to put out a video game console. And it was just this true underdog story. And honestly, without Halo, I don't think it would have survived.
No. Not off the back of Munch's Odyssey.
No.
Project Gotham.
Oh, I remember being jealous about that as well, actually. That Munch went to Xbox. It felt the same way when...
At least they had exclusives back then.
Well, and they did. They had some stellar exclusives.
I remember the two times I've been really jealous of other consoles outside of Sony. It was when that happened, when Munch's Odyssey went to
I was
Microsoft,
furious.
and when I found out Resident Evil had gone to Nintendo GameCube.
But
that didn't last for long because
it.
Resident Evil 4 eventually came out on other systems, but originally, the remake of Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 4 were GameCube exclusives for the longest time.
I remember also being, as a fan of stealth games, being quite jealous of Splinter Cell.
Of course.
I remember playing a demo of it in a shop.
Remember we found out the PS2 version's better.
yeah. And I was like, the graphics for a start, the use of lighting and shadows in that game was really, really awesome. And then the physics, like when you'd walk into curtains and they would kind of move, Sony just didn't have that at the time.
Oh, what about Fable, guys, as well?
Fable, yeah.
I love being told things that aren't going to be in a game.
It ended up being quite something. So
we're covering Fable in a couple weeks, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that acorn
to
sprout. So did you guys read any of that oral history of Halo that I sent? It's long. I've been reading it.
I could only read about. I read the intro and the first half of the first part, which was pretty long, anyways.
But
I just woke up and it was lying in bed half asleep. Looked at it and went, nah.
I mean, it is fascinating.
I was hoping this wasn't going to come out so publicly, but I don't actually know how to read.
Shit!
I knew it.
Sorry, Mike. I didn't mean to point fingers at your disability.
That's crazy.
But yeah, it's definitely.
So I'll need to do an audiobook version of my dad jokes for your Christmas.
Yes, please.
I'll get you to voice it.
That would be great.
But I won't be able to read the script.
Then Tom can provide the laughter track.
Yeah, we'll give you an earpiece and I'll read it into you and you can just repeat it.
I'll listen to
that way everybody's involved. It's a joint factory sealed effort.
Should do a factory sealed audiobook.
I think somebody should write some sort of what are those called? Those podcast novellas where you have actors and all of that. Somebody should write something for us to act out.
Zach.
I started writing that Factory Sealed story, and Jeremy Sanford read it all out.
Oh yeah.
Good lord. Now somebody give us like a dramatic story to read and give us each our own parts.
Oh God, that would descend into anarchy very quickly.
That would be great.
You'll never be able to follow who's who because Dan will do some sort of accent one day and another one the next. But anyway, back to Halo.
Halo.
So Tom, at the time you were talking about FPS as kind of being the dominating game on PC, and when Halo launched, people were looking at it like, oh, wait a minute, you can actually do FPS on a console and do it well, because at the time GoldenEye was out for the N64, and that's the only one that even came close to like really gaining cult status of FPS. And even by standards back then, the controls were shit.
Yeah, because it was the whole you wanted to be able to look and move separately. That was the whole thing.
And you had to use the
really
C buttons to strafe, and it became kind of a headache. But within this article, it's interesting to talk about, or it's interesting they talk about how they kind of fooled you into thinking that you were better at playing Halo than you actually were. There were pages and pages and pages of
I was pretty fucking terrible, to be honest.
of code that would basically try to interpret.
Shocking. The man who doesn't know how to jump in Mario is terrible at Halo as well.
There were pages of algorithms that were trying to interpret what you were doing, and one of the examples was the game would assume that if you were aiming, you would slow down, so everything else would slow down, and sort of provide you with a better level of accuracy. And it's, they didn't go into too much depth of it, but basically they said the game tricks you into thinking you're better than you really are, and that's what made FPSs on console feel so much better than they really probably were. Especially for people who are used to playing them on PC, where you have that mouse and keyboard where you can get pinpoint precision. Console, not so much. So they kind of had to do these little tricks to make you feel like, hey, you're better.
Yeah. And give you much more generous like hitboxes and stuff like that. Larger reticle, and it is okay. It works brilliantly. And going back to it after all these years, it's still I was surprised at how reasonably it holds up, that original one.
So,
and I played the anniversary edition, but I played with classic graphics most of the time.
I played the Master Chief Collection with classic graphics.
See, I played Master Chief Collection, which is the anniversary version, but I played with the newer graphics. But what I did was whenever I got to a new area or saw a new enemy or anything like that, because you can do it at the drop of a hat, which is fucking awesome, by the way.
That is awesome.
I always had a quick look. The thing that made me laugh, though, is obviously the Master Chief Collection for the One X received a patch a few months ago, so it's all in 4K HDR now. So you've got those original graphics.
Wow.
But in 4K.
That's
so
crazy.
You have this huge open areas that are so empty and so smooth and featureless. And so dark as well, because the original game, I think they used a lot of darkness to, obviously you didn't see the limitations of it. Just so dark and so smooth, but it's all in lovely 4K.
Wow. And I played the OG version.
Ooh.
Xbox original.
Did you play it on a widescreen monitor fully stretched?
I did, of course.
Jesus Christ, Dan.
Did you play it on an OG Xbox, or did you play it on 360?
No, I've got it on 360.
Oh, okay.
But,
I
forgot how much I like the 360 controller.
Yeah.
Yes, me too. It's actually a really good controller.
I was reading somewhere before we came online, and I've got that many tabs open. I can't find where it is.
Mate, you're bullshitting because you can't read.
Yeah, but essentially, how that defining feature of the anniversary version, where you can change from both graphics, what it does is actually using both engines at once, and running both engines at once.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
they had a newer engine to do the fancier graphics, and they had to obviously alter loads because of the way where things were in different places. So obviously the anniversary version with the newer graphics, the world's fuller. There's more rocks and more bits of technology in the ships and things like that. So obviously, if you're playing the older version, if you switch back to the older graphics, they're not there. So they needed to be able to do a workaround, and then that's how they did it. They have both engines working simultaneously.
Have they done the same for Halo 2 yet?
I was just going to
Yes.
say, so did you see that video I sent you this morning?
No, because I can't see.
Didn't want that to come out either.
God, you're in a bad way, aren't you?
Come to Dan's optometry shop. He'll put a stick in your eye. You'll be able to see brand new.
Full circle, guys.
So
Oh my god.
I think the remake that they did of Halo 2 is way better than what they did for 1, and I didn't realize it till I fired up and was flipping between the cutscenes. So I thought that the game defaulted to the original graphics and the original cutscenes when you started up the game. So I fired up Halo 2 just to kind of jump back into it a little bit. Like, Jesus, I don't remember Halo 2 looking this good. Like, this can't be right. And I pressed the button to switch it, and it went back. It didn't just rewash the textures. They basically have rebuilt the cutscenes for the Anniversary Edition. They're completely different, fully cinematic and CGI. Same thing with the graphics for the levels. It's way better than what they had done for the first one. It's really
interesting.
impressive.
This
So
is on the
what's-
Master
what's-
Chief Collection?
Yeah. Which is
Wow.
the same
What-
as the Anniversary Collection for 2, I believe.
Oh, but I have the Anniversary Collection on 360, but it doesn't have Halo 2.
Oh, it doesn't?
No,
No,
it's just,
have you just got Halo Anniversary, not Anniversary Collection? Is there an
Yeah.
Anniversary Collection?
I didn't think there was. I just bought
Maybe not.
Anniversary. Maybe.
Yeah, I think it's just. I don't. You correct me if I'm wrong. I think it could just be Halo Anniversary, Halo 2
Gotcha.
Anniversary. You know what? If only there was like some kind of internet where I could Google this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
but
right.
you
It's
can't
just
read,
Halo
so-
1 Anniversary.
Yeah.
I just bought Halo 2, just the original Xbox version for about $5
I think
the
I've
other
still
day.
got
just
it, and I
'cause
kind of want to play through it again, because
Yeah.
what jarred me really with playing Halo 1 was my memories are of Halo 2, so there's certain mechanics that are in Halo 2 which aren't in 1, like, for example, being able to drive the Wraith. So I got run over by the Wraith trying to twat it off the Covenant.
So in
Oh,
Halo
yeah.
1 here, I don't remember being able to fly a Banshee in the original one, but on the Master Chief Collection,
Oh.
you can.
Yeah, you can. It's on the original.
You
Is
can
it?
fly. You can fly a Banshee on the original.
I didn't. Yeah, I don't remember being
Yeah,
able
it's
to
part,
do that.
It's part of the level.
Well, actually, so there's a level. I think it's Assault on. I can't remember what it's called. Assault on something.
I think it's two betrayals where you have the Banshee.
You know what?
Yeah,
You're right.
but-
Yeah, you have
but
to go up
on
and
the-
disable
Yeah.
the.
On the
Okay.
early one, there's one of the early levels though. If you snipe one of the elites before he jumps in, you can take the Banshee early.
Maybe that's what I was thinking about. Is
Oh.
try to get
which
that
is
part.
awesome. Yeah.
Going back to what we were discussing with Halo 2, a high definition remastered version of Halo 2 was released as part of the Halo Master Chief Collection. So yeah, it's only on there.
Only
okay.
on Xbox One. Fair enough.
So Dan, to your point about the weapons too, what's really neat is that at the time, first-person shooters were filling you up with loads of weapons, and they wanted to keep the interface of this game super simplistic and really accessible and fast-paced, which is why you can only carry 2 weapons and you switch them with the touch of a button.
I like that. It kind of means you have to adjust on the fly, like depending on what
Yeah.
ammo you've got and things.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I played through most of the game with the assault rifle, and when we finally got the shotgun.
Yeah, same.
Oh yeah. I was all about the pistol.
That sniper pistol,
Um,
man. Oh,
Yeah. Either always had a combination of short and long range weapons if possible.
I'm not big on the Covenant weapons. I'm not going to lie.
I like the Covenant
Oh.
pistol because if you pair that with the battle rifle, you can pull their shields down and immediately kill them.
I don't. I like the Needler, but I don't think it's as good as it is in Halo 2 and 3.
Well, yeah, because
I
you can
didn't
get
like the
dual
Needler. I couldn't
needlers
get
in
on with
Halo 2.
Oh.
But the shotgun, like, I think you need that when the Flood comes into it. It's
I found the assault rifle best for when the flood came along.
So
No,
the
but
interesting thing about the controls of this, I mean, I'm talking as a guy who, like I said before, I don't really play first-person shooters. I've never really got into them. The last kind of first-person shooters I really played was PS1 first-person
not
shooters.
not being able to
Because
see
Medal of
will
Honor.
stop you from playing them quite a lot.
Exactly, and not being able to read, so I can't read the front of the game cases, so I don't know what I'm putting in.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to read if you can't see, mate. It's just not gonna happen.
Exactly.
We need to get you some kind of Braille game.
But the few first-person shooters I have played in recent times, obviously, there's almost like standard things there. So every single level, you can almost look down the scope or the aim the reticule of it all, which isn't in this. Apart from on the sniper pistol and on one of the levels, the actual sniper rifle you have, and also a lot of them now you can sprint. Which I found very strange. It's like I was constantly clicking the L3 button into whatever the equivalent is on fucking Xbox. L3 button
L3.
to try and I think
It's the same thing.
to sprint, and he just wouldn't go any faster. And
Yeah,
for me,
Chief
that was quite.
Chief takes his time.
Yeah, that was a bit jarring for me. But here's a question I have: is this the with the overshield where it recharges and everything? Is this, because obviously me not being that versed in first-person shooters, is this kind of one of the first examples of the just regenerating health that a lot of shooters have now?
Because subsequent Halos didn't have the actual health packs; they just had the
I knew
shields.
they didn't. I was like, why have we got health?
And I don't think did subsequent Halos have fall damage?
I think so.
I think they all did.
Because first-person shooters of today, 9 times out of 10, that you have regenerative health, don't you? You don't get shot for a while; it'll go back up. And this was a question I wanted to ask you guys: is this kind of one of the first examples of it?
I couldn't be totally sure, but it's definitely one of the earliest examples I remember. Yeah, because normally you'd have a health of out of 100 or something, and you'd just be picking up health packs left, right, and center. But
Halo
it is weird
is
that
sometimes credited for the first appearance of regenerating health in FPS games.
yeah.
There you go.
However, it was not
But
the
it's-
first. Let me see here.
While he looks at that, it's interesting now that they've gone back with the Doom reboot to having health packs.
Yes. That is, yeah.
The first video game to use a form of regenerating health was Punch-Out in 1983.
Okay.
I mean, it's not really a first-person shooter, though, is
In
it?
1984, Heidelide introduced a regenerating health mechanic in a more modern form where the player escapes damage for a set amount of time in order to recover health. Then the mechanic went on to appear in the popular Ease series from 97 onwards. The first shooter with the mechanic was Star Luster for the NES. However, this mechanic was
Star
rarely
Luster.
used outside of action
That was a big
RPG
one.
genre until the 2000s. But it did not even have regenerating health. Halo featured a traditional health system, but it was the shield that regenerated. So
Yeah.
Starluster sounds like it should be some kind of porno.
From a character in a Star Wars porno.
Starluster.
No, Luke Starluster, I am your fluffer.
Jesus.
Add that one to the list.
Have your fluffer.
He's away.
No, have you seen those? I just reminded me of those condoms you can get that say on the Star Wars font, "I will not be a father." Oh dear.
Story-wise, what do you guys think? Because that was definitely an
first off,
afterthought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I didn't realize with the first one is they don't really address the backstory.
No.
So
at all.
interesting
They
about
don't.
that is that there were so many levels that got chopped because they just weren't polished enough. So there's actually like the part where you meet Captain Keyes in his jail cell, and I forget what he says, but he was talking about
Wagwan, my brethren.
the revelation of Halo being what it is. There actually was an entire level where you, the player character, figure that out for yourself, and massive story beats like this got cut, and they just kind of had to have an understanding.
It's a big ring in space. What more do you want to know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So me going in as a complete newcomer to this series, and you guys have obviously played the subsequent games, and I'd try and go easy on spoilers for the rest of the games because I might actually at some point play more of them since I've got the Master Chief
Then I won't
Collection
tell you
anyway.
how Halo 5 ends because I finished that last night.
Oh, you mean like you did in WhatsApp this morning?
I was careful. That is not a spoiler in what I did.
Right. Anyway, so for me, what Dan said about how a lot of the kind of backstory of it all isn't really implemented in the game, and I felt that like, you never at never point. There's no point in the game where you kind of who the Covenant are, why you're fighting the Covenant, why you're at war with the Covenant, and
Yeah,
all of that is
it's just there's these bad guy aliens. Shoot them. That's
Well,
it,
and I
really.
think
Yeah.
that's
yeah,
the-
or like there's no thing of like what actually is Master Chief. Like he's woken. They wake up this soldier who's like, oh, wake up the chief. Oh, it's time to wake up the chief. Oh, I'll wake up the chief. I'll get this bacon on and his coffee is gonna need that. And wake up the chief, and then they wake him up and then you're just this super soldier who's obviously got some kind of history of being fantastic.
But isn't that how all new IPs really start? They don't anticipate that, okay, this thing's gonna be a series that spans 20 years and we get to explain this. They just kind of go, okay, we have a really cool game concept here. You're the Space Marine.
But
What's his name going to be? I don't know, Space Dude. And then
I say it's still. It's probably from the era, but nowadays you'd probably get more backstory.
Interestingly enough, they talk about how they came up with his name for it.
Was one of them watching MasterChef the night before?
And another.
He had 2 ideas that day when he came into the office. 1 should be called Master Chief, and 2 he should have an apron. The apron was debunked.
You get to keep one of these. What do you want?
The apron would have said "Hail to the chef" on it.
They really were running.
Halo to the chef, actually.
So he got his name.
It does seem like they were really running out of time with this game developing it. They did rush a lot of bits, didn't they?
Well, I'm just wondering. I didn't do my usual, my usual thing when we look at these old games. I look at the instruction manual. I actually didn't do it on this. I wonder if there's loads of stuff in the instruction manual.
I didn't either.
So I'm gonna read this to you. This is from one of the developers. He says, "I was in the meeting where Master Chief was named. I think it was me, Jason, a couple of the artists we're already working on. Who came up with
Greg
the name?
Wallace.
Who came up with the name John? 'Cause that's his actual name. His name is John." But you weren't going to run around getting called John in the game. That wasn't going to fly. So in thinking about other ways we could name him, someone said, well, we could give him a rank. And someone's like, okay, Sergeant. But then Rob said, well, he's a Marine, so it has to be a naval rank. So someone said, okay, he's a commander. He's like James Bond. And then one of the guys was a stickler for military access and accuracy, not access. He said the commander doesn't get sent into fights. So we looked up ranks in the U.S. Navy, and above this line, you're no longer considered expendable. Looking there, Master Chief was the highest non-commissioned officer rank that's considered expendable. We thought that name sounded stupid, but it just kind of stuck.
Eric, you know what the real reason is, though?
Because he's a good chef. Jesus Christ. For those of you listening, Dan held up a copy of Just Cause.
I was reading something and wasn't on the video, so I missed that joke too. There is more backstory in the instruction manual.
And there's a ton
like
in
a page
here,
and a half worth. Yeah, there's a page and a half worth.
Man, mine's got pictures of the original Xbox controller and everything. Wow.
Yeah, because the game begins where you're on the Pillar of Autumn, which is like the ship. Yeah, the main
UNSC.
ship with Captain Keyes.
Which is the most fucking American name for a fucking ship I've ever.
Surprised it wasn't shaped like an eagle and just.
Surprised it wasn't a fucking Eagles of Death metal.
What about it would have to be called the Pillars of Fall.
What about the Truth and Reconciliation as well, which is the Covenant ship?
Jesus Christ.
Also, why do the Covenant speak English? What's that about?
Good point. I think they should have called it Pillars of the Fall. That would have been better as an American name.
Very good, Tom. Very good.
Oh wow! So planet Earth.
Thank you, Mike.
Planet Earth still exists, but overpopulation has forced many of our
Dan,
Dan.
You need to do this like a movie trailer. The year is 2552. Planet Earth still exists, but overpopulation has forced many of her former residents to colonize other worlds.
Faster than light travel is now a reality.
Oh, God.
Oh my God! We've got things about the Pillar of Autumn and its crew.
Yeah, because the Pillar of Autumn basically stumbles across the world of Halo. Like they didn't even realize it existed because they were escaping from a war.
Basically, the Covenant had wiped their asses.
Yeah, they keep attacking human worlds and destroying shit, and so the Pillars of Autumn ship just kind of goes into hyperspace or something, and when it comes out of hyperspace, it's like, oh, what's this huge ring here? It shall be called Halo.
Because it looks
interesting
like
thing about the story as well.
Get it, Dan? Dan, because it's like a halo that goes on your head.
Yeah.
What?
And for Halo ODST, the main one on the soundtrack.
I thought it was called Hello.
No,
you just spelled it wrong.
Oh.
And that's what the song Halo is by Beyonce is all about. Halo ODST. It was heavily inspired by that game.
Okay, I thought so.
And the song Halo by Foo Fighters as well.
Correct.
Do you guys know where Cortana got her name?
From the artificial intelligence assistant?
No.
Well, I was going to say a moment ago,
which came out in the future.
Cortana. Regarding Cortana, she was originally going to be an antagonist in this game. So she was planned to go mad with power after being downloaded into Halo's control room, which is why in that scene she starts acting really weirdly. However, the developers decided against having Cortana betray the chief and instead made 343 Guilt with Spark the antagonist.
Is that why she's a bad guy on 5?
However, the scene where Cortana is downloaded in the control room.
She is a bad guy in 5.
Is
she? The scene wasn't changed and made a lot of players.
She's the antagonist.
Another interesting thing about that scene as well, because I thought it was really weird that she said "sod off" despite the fact she had an American accent. Originally she was going to be English, but then when they ended up casting the last that they did, they just didn't change the script.
But the lady Jen Taylor had also done No One Lives Forever, and that main character is British, and they thought that the voices were too similar, so they made her do American accent.
Yeah.
But anyway,
didn't change the accent.
The name Cortana comes from. Previously, they had done a different game called Marathon, and there's an AI in there named Durandal, which is a famous literary French sword, and it came from a series of.
That's on Final Fantasy as well.
The swords came in a 3-pack. There's Durandal, Cortana, and Joyeuse. So they said, well, Joyeuse sounds stupid, so it has to be Cortana. And that's how they got the name Cortana.
Oh. I had no idea.
Yeah. But yeah, the whole backstory of Halo just kind of became this thing of like, okay, let's just shoehorn this shit in here, and why would these Covenant be here to protect this? And it's got to be religion, so let's just cram religion in here, and these Covenants see this thing as a religious symbol, and then the Forerunners came in, and then the Flood.
God bothering.
Yeah, all the God bothering.
Nice, Dan. Dan is showing up pictures of Dead or Alive.
Dan, will you stop showing stuff on video when I'm not on the video? Missing your jokes.
It's not my fault.
You keep missing his junk? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly what I said.
You'll see it later in his eye when I fix them.
Well, I'm busy reading stuff, Daniel.
Oh, I forgot Knights of the Old Republic is an Xbox exclusive.
Dan, will you focus on what we're doing?
What are we doing?
I don't know. Recording a show.
I'm keeping myself engaged. I need to not turn into a pumpkin.
Yeah. Level design in this game is really interesting, where so much of they had so many levels that they wanted to include, but it got really tight for time frames, so they started chopping them and said, okay, we need to start reusing some assets, but how can we do it in such a fashion that people aren't going to go, hey, this is the same goddamn thing? So, like with the Pillar of Autumn, essentially
I noticed.
Essentially the game's progression is you get to the halfway point and then just backtrack to the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but they brought in artists to, like Pillars of Autumn, for example. The first level, you're in space and it's really cool, and then at the end of the game, it's crashed and it's just dilapidated. So you're going through the same levels and same areas, but the textures are different and the course through it is a little bit different. But essentially, you're just playing half of a game twice.
Yeah, because it's a shame because like levels 2 to 4 or 5, like those from Halo till when you first meet the Flood. Those
fucking Flood.
Some of the level design there is awesome because you're just like, it feels like a really big world. You traverse on foot for part of it. You find a warthog. You find your other fellow soldiers. They jump in. You drive through to the next place. You go round mountains and stuff. Then you kind of go inside a building, collect some shit, kill some Covenant, come out the other side, grab yourself a ghost, traverse up another, it just, the verticality and the spans of space that you can travel in, and with 2 or 3 different vehicles at a time, and also with friendly AI that they're also saying stuff, and they're like, "Hey, Chief, good to see you again, Chief. Come on." It feels like a real real war, like a real conflict.
I love the Marines in the Halo series.
Get back up so I can kill you again.
Well, and what's cool though is they also incorporated that same concept of likability to the enemy as well. The grunts are freaking hilarious.
Yeah, those little dudes.
I think they sound like the Minions from.
Yeah.
From the movie
Minions before it was cool.
Yeah.
But they reused some of the sound assets for some of the bad guys as well. The elites go whoop whoop whoop. That's apparently that's the soldiers saying go 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 back. It's been reversed and slowed down.
Cool.
That's cool. I love stuff like
Did you know that?
What I really like about the grunts is how the like when the elites die, they run away.
Yeah.
Like that's a really nice touch.
Yeah, that's neat.
Speaking of audio, Captain Keys has dynamic audio too. He'll say, like, the game will just randomly pick some certain lines for him to say at different times. So not everybody's experience will be the same.
One of my favourite parts was, it's either the second or third level when you first get the Warthog and you're driving around. You got to like save the different groups of soldiers from Covenant ships coming down and getting them. I accidentally drove there was a group of them in these rocks, and I managed to get the Warthog through the rocks. They like just ploughed down a load of the guys, and the captain was like, "Do you mind not killing my men?"
So that's a good point. So one of the things I remember, so I did it on this playthrough, and the last time I played through Halo was like a long time ago, probably when it first came out, and I remember how every opportunity I would try and take my vehicle as far as it could. Like even when you're
try to glitch
supposed
it through
to get out
areas.
Yeah, and you can do that. Like you can park at the at some of the interior sections and get out, trigger the door opening, and then quickly jump back into your Ghost, go into a building, and suddenly you're flying this ship around these corridors. And just like, I just love that you could do that kind of stuff.
I always
like,
treated the
really
grunts as portable ammunition carriers. So if I ran out of ammo and there was a grunt or a marine around, I would just kill them and take their battle rifle ammo. Wasn't it in later games? You could actually swap.
A bit later on, where you're in the Banshee, and this comes back to what Tom said. And I tried to fly it through the caverns as far as I could, and then you opened the doors, and I got through one, and then the next door kind of broke and only opened a smidge, so you couldn't get in. I was like, "No, they thought of this."
Worth a go.
Yeah.
I got stuck a few times with the Warthog. I had to kind of Austin Powers it out of there. We're just trying to
That's
do
when you
like
got to throw a grenade like just far enough away for it to launch it, but not blow
bit
it
of
up.
Austin Powers.
That's all like a 20-point turn. But yeah, you're right.
It's
The
just not
grenades,
going anywhere.
which is another point. The grenades in this game. So I normally I'm very conservative with my grenade throwing in most games. Like I like to keep a little stash in case a big boss appears and I really need
Then
them.
you played with
But
me.
in Halo, you can just huck these things because you know you're going to pick up another 4 in like less than a couple minutes.
Well, I was struggling for a little while because, again, with my lack of experience with first-person shooters, I was, covering myself quite a lot, hiding behind things, being very cautious with my ammo, and being, very, very reserved with my grenades. And I was struggling a little bit. It was when I spoke to you guys, and you both said, just fucking go for it. Like, you want to just strafe all the time, shoot as much as you want. And it reminds me of that kind of old sort of Doom playstyle where you're literally just plowing bullets into things.
Well, you got to get really good with a certain
gun
strategy of you empty your clip into an elite, run up, pistol whip him to pull his shield down, and then switch to your pistol and finish him off with a single shot.
Yeah.
I see. What I would do is get a shield down, then twack him with my rifle, and that killed him.
Yeah, that's another good way. The melee is not to be is well worth using.
That was a strategy for multiplayer as well. You always used to shoot your friends with the battle rifle to get their shields down, then twack them with the battle rifle. And that.
See, when we would do
the best
LAN
thing to
parties,
do-
I would throw grenades just randomly and then listen in the house for if they exploded on somebody else's TV. I'm like, all right, that's where somebody is. Let's go.
You always used. I remember fond memories of playing split screen and cheating by looking at where your friend is, and memorizing the level layout, so you could go, "Oh, I know exactly where they are." And then they'd be like, "How did you find me?" And I'm like,
There's actually a multiplayer game out now where you have to. That's actually the main dynamic of the game. It's called Screen Cheat, I believe. On your screen, you can't physically see the other players, so you have to watch their screen for when they're in front of you for you to be able to shoot them.
Oh man.
I'm sure it's called Screen Sheet or something like that.
idea.
It looks quite fun.
It's the same with like when you're in a Warthog and you have like an AI on the gun. The best thing to do is always keep moving and just go round, like circle the enemies, and so he can just keep shooting. And because if you stop too long, he's going to get wasted.
Oh yeah.
So it's always
I just ran people over.
Interestingly,
that
on
too.
this one, on the OG version, it looked like if you go on the minigun on the Warthog, like they won't drive for you, but on Halo 2 it will.
Oh, that's cool. Because I watch sometimes. It's like, I want to go on the gun.
That's again one of these mechanics that threw me a bit because I'm used to playing Halo 2.
But
so
I was going to say, Mike, how did you find controlling the Warthog? It's quite an unusual vehicle,
weird.
isn't it?
Yeah. So is that what it's like the entirety of the Halo series then?
Yes.
They keep that?
Oh,
Because that's such a strange...
It just
The way the wheels turn.
Yeah, so if there are any listeners out there listening to this who's never actually played a Halo game like me before this, you don't control the cars, because the Warthog is basically this Jeep, and you don't control it conventionally like you would a vehicle. What happens is you end up with this like cursor on screen that you move it's like a reticule kind of cursor, and the car just follows that rather than necessarily you turning left, you turning right. So if you wanted to quickly turn the car left, you'd have to kind of get your cursor around the curve first, and the car would kind of follow the cursor around.
You can whip
Same
your
as
back
if
end
you-
around.
So it's basically
Yeah.
left stick forward, right stick turns, kind of.
It's so good. I love driving the Warthog.
Oh, is this where I might have fucked up here then? So I was using the. Oh no! I was ignore me. Ignore that entire sentence. Cut it out, Eric. Edit it out.
Nope. I'm going to highlight it. It's going to be an hour and a half of that sentence.
All right. Fair enough. No, it doesn't matter. I was doing it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the same with there was some. It's like with the Ghost, when you turn, even though your crosshair might be over an enemy, it won't turn red because the Ghost physically has to be facing the enemy as well.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yes.
cool.
Yeah.
So there was some issue there, like some kind of like
I
difference in control.
I didn't enjoy. I feel like I was doing something wrong at the very end. You know, the very end sequence where you're using the Warthog to go through over those ramps and everything to get
Yeah.
out of the Pillar of Autumn. I never really made any of the jumps, and I thought I was doing something wrong because I was going as fast as I could.
thought that was really janky as well, to be honest, Mike. It was,
Yeah, and it kind of ruined that end bit, because the end bit was feeling really epic.
The ending of
It reminded me of
2 is even better, though. I think
It
it's 2 or
reminded me
3.
of the last bit on Metal Gear Solid where you shooting liquid in the
Yeah.
in the other
Yeah.
Jeep. And
Yes.
it reminded me
Oh,
of that. I was like,
God.
oh, this feels ace. This is amazing.
So cool.
And then
It's not
every
really
single
a
jump I
spoiler,
was
Mike,
failing.
but this becomes like a very common thing in the Halo games. I think it's in 2 and 3 as well, kind of a similar section.
Oh, is it
Yeah,
like
you
there's
can't-
always like a self-destruct mechanism in Resident Evil?
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
There's one I can't remember. Dan, maybe you can help me remember. Is it the end of 3 where it's the really epic one where stuff's exploding and there's like hot lava down
Yeah.
below you? Oh, that one was so cool.
And I think you drive over like glass panels and things like
Yeah,
that.
that break if you
You
don't
remember?
move across them
Yeah.
fast enough.
I think I remember that.
So
I think I need to replay these games.
There's
think
something
one of the-
very similar at the end of Halo 5 too.
And I think that's part of what made Halo extra epic was for sure its soundtrack. Just this like they kind of wanted this feeling of very atmospheric and like a lot of mystery around this unknown world.
They orchestrated it for the anniversary version, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. It sounds awesome, and it's like so. It's got this, everyone knows that theme with the kind of Gregorian chant and the slow drums that kind of beat and come in, and the cool thing is that actually music is used quite sparingly throughout the game. It only ever comes in when it really needs to change the pacing in some way. So like you know that you're gonna. So for example, some parts of certain levels where you have to escape or you have to get somewhere quickly because someone's to save someone, the music will kick in at these times, and it's always that same kind of pattern and beat. Like they kind of reuse those pieces, and it's not overly done. It just works
Yeah.
super well. I
don't
really
know what
like
it
how
is
they do
about
that.
the main Halo theme, but when it kicks in, it's just so badass on the levels.
yeah,
like
it just-
it's just so cool.
It's
like,
cool.
It's
I think
so
if you're
good.
a big Microsoft Halo like fan, like as soon as you hear those first like couple of, it's like Eric was saying the other day when you first hear the Final Fantasy theme, like the first
Yeah.
few notes, and you instantly recognize what that is.
Yeah, when it did that on Final Fantasy VII's trailer at E3, I like just lost my shit. I was like,
Yeah.
I knew what it was already, but
Well-
I was like, my god!
Most of the
How
music
it was in
this-
Halo reminded me of the first. On the first Tomb Raider, where like it would very sparingly use music, and
Yeah.
like there'd be bits where I always remember the very first level of the original Tomb Raider, and the first time you encounter just some wolves and like this kind of very drum heavy kind of almost action paced music comes in, and you suddenly feel this thrill of battle going into that, and they use it again like bits where the T-Rex turns up and things like that, and then when you go into an area that has like an artifact and it's very mysterious, like that main theme would come in, and it reminded me of that in Halo. And what you said about it being used for important moments where you were escaping, or the ante had suddenly been upped, it was always perfectly paired with the dialogue that had just happened. So Cortana would be like, right, we need to go and do this, and then suddenly the music would come in and you go, oh shit, yeah, this is actually really important.
Yeah, exactly. It just fits with the narrative beautifully. It's not just there for the sake of being there. It's purposefully done in a way to change pace of the game. And I know music does that a lot in movies, and it certainly does in games too. But just again, was going back to that time, 2001 first-person shooter. Hadn't really been done.
The music for this game came together in 3 days. All 33 cutscenes were scored in 3 days.
Wow. My God.
And the guy that did the original chant wasn't really even... He was just a guy that was like, okay, you hop up there and just improvise something. And he just was... He's wanting to do some sort of this Arabic chant, and no idea what he was doing. Music came on, and he just improvised. And went, okay, well, what do you think? And he goes, perfect, we're keeping it.
It's just so iconic now as well. Like, Eric, you shared that trailer for Halo 3 where it has the really iconic piano sound at the start, and then kind of builds up to the main theme. And I was like, that was such a good trailer.
Well, and at the time the 360 had come out, and everybody's like, all right, when are they going to announce Halo? It's been a year now. When are they going to announce it? And at E3 the year afterwards, they show like this kind of barren desert landscape, and you hear that one piano note. And I remember everybody that I was watching was just losing their mind, like, this is it, this is Halo. That one note, and how iconic something like that was. And then it gets to the chant and builds up. And they've always been really good with marketing Halo. We were talking a little bit last night about the Halo 3 Believe campaign. I mean, that's how you market a video game.
By not showing any of the video game.
Yeah, but it brought the game to the real world.
It had more backstory in that trailer than it does in all of Halo 1.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of the levels here. I want to get your guys' opinion on the Flood, because fuck the Flood.
Yeah. Right in the eye.
The library level.
Better.
The library level, I was...
The cue of the Flood is me.
I was not rage quitting, but like going through the library, I was just getting sick of it. That level where you go through it, you basically, the entire level is going up through the exact same, well, not the exact same, but identical looking corridors over and over and over and over again, just fighting more and more and more and more of the Flood. And I know the idea was there to, make them look relentless, to make it look like there was swarms of them and so many of them and how dangerous they really are. But honestly, I found that entire level dull. So dull.
It was cool for a while, and then it did get repetitive. It's like, okay, I have to wait for Guilty Spark.
I found that from that point was kind of where it lost me, because like you said, Eric, it was with the backtracking and stuff, and I mentioned this to you guys as well. I noticed a huge difficulty spike after the Flood level, just in terms of people using grenades, and then the Flood gives them rocket launchers, would kill you with one hit. I lost count of how many times I died, just through no fault of my own. Just walk around a corner, get shot in the face with a rocket launcher. I was like, it's just unfair.
I mean, every video game has those moments, like that level where it's like, famously, it can sometimes be like the water level in a game where they just everyone hates that level. But this one, it's like kind of turn it up to 11 because it really is bad. Like, I would totally give you that, Mike. It's just like, for as great as Halo is and for the lasting impression it has, in terms of game design, like that level, everyone knows that level so well. It's just totally infamous.
But you see, we're looking at it through...
so horrible to play.
We're looking at it through modern eyes where Horde mode has been beaten to death.
Yeah.
This was kind of one of the first instances of it where it's just wave after wave after wave of the same thing. And at the time, it was like, all right, I mean, this is pretty cool. I get to kill a bunch of stuff. And if you exploit grenades, it's not super difficult.
Yeah. I do remember, though, at the time people complained about this level.
Yeah.
But now it's like it's really a sticking point in a bad way.
So, fun fact about when I first got to the library level and you meet the obvious inspiration for Wheatley from Portal. His name is 343 Guilty Spark.
343 Guilty Spark.
I never made the connection that when Bungie split from Microsoft and handed over the IP to Microsoft,
Yeah, 343 Industries.
never made that connection because I was thinking of what was the company that made the Cool Borders games, 989 Studios. I'm thinking, oh, it's just another number, and then I looked at it and went, boy, that's convenient. And then I read about it, and they're like, yeah, they started a studio after 343 Guilty Spark. So yeah, another Banjo-Tooie.
Very, very recently, so IGN do this podcast called It's Humans Who Make Games. Again, not an ad. But Ryan McCaffrey did one recently with, what's her name? Bonnie Ross, who's head of 343 Industries, and talking about the uncertain time period between Halo 3 and Halo 4, because obviously it was after Halo 3 Bungie split. And Microsoft were looking for somebody to develop Halo 4, and believe it or not, Gearbox were very, very close to making it. Big guys who made Borderlands.
And
it was only when Bonnie Ross basically kind of, because I think she was working for Microsoft at the time. I might have this a little bit wrong, but she was working for them at the time, and they said, no, we should keep it in-house. It's Halo. It's our franchise. We should keep it, and she convinced them to then create 343.
And they knocked it out of the park.
My favourite thing about 343 is they have somebody called Kiki Wolfkill, which is just the most badass name I've ever heard in my life.
That's an actual name?
Kill.
Kiki Wolfkill, she's executive producer. I remember they always bring her out when like they're on conferences and stuff, and I'm just like, it's just such a cool name.
It's not quite a guy called Doug Bowser now being the head of Nintendo America, though, is it?
That's the universe just coming together in the right way.
Rest in peace, Reggie. You're not dead, but rest in peace.
Your career.
I think he'll be all right. He's been top thing of Nintendo for quite a few years. He should be okay.
And he gave us
just
Pizza Hut, so
He's just relaxing now, isn't he?
yeah.
Facing off against Father Gascon.
His body is Reggie for massages.
All the gas is gone from his career tank.
But yeah, I, you know, you're saying about difficulty spike, Dan. Yeah, it started getting very hard for me. Again, I've said it several times already. Me not being that experienced.
Oh yeah.
Me not being that great of an expert at first-person shooters, I definitely started finding this difficult. Now, I didn't have the option, so I played Wolfenstein: The New Order recently, and luckily on that you can change the difficulty on the fly, and I got to a point in that where I had to drop the difficulty level down 1 because I was just struggling, and you don't have this option on Halo, at least I couldn't find it. So I stayed on normal difficulty throughout, and for me personally, yeah, towards the end I definitely found it hard, but like I said, it's my inexperience.
You can drop down a difficulty on Halo, but if you're already halfway through a level, you have to start that level again.
Oh, okay. But no, I'm glad I did it. Like, cause
yeah, that's awesome.
I'm coming round to first-person shooters more, mainly from playing Wolfenstein recently. I did play a Doom demo as well, the most recent Doom, and now playing this. I mean, one of the things one of my favourite things about being on the show is I'll play games I wouldn't normally play, and I for years have always gone something. You know, I'll see an advert for a first-person shooter, I'll be like, well. But now I'm getting to a point where I might actually try some more. I mean, I've never played any of the Call of Duties, for example, and this month on PS Plus they're giving us the Modern Warfare remaster. And before I would have been like, not bothered. But actually, I think I'm going to give it a go.
Yeah, you should, because I think it's probably one of the best Call of Duty games. For if it's what I think it is it 4 Modern Warfare
Call of Duty
remastered?
4 Modern Warfare, yeah.
Yeah, so that was where COD really took a turn. Like the first 3 games were like World War II standard,
and they were great
shooters, and they were good. They were very good games. But then 4 was like, holy shit! This was
Well, see, I think it's kind of lost its way now. Cole.
Now it has, yeah. I think up until I thought Advanced Warfare was good, but anything after that, I couldn't get on with personally.
Mike, to your point,
this is me who. So I obviously I played Wolfenstein New Order, and I have, what's the most recent one? Is it New Colossus?
Yeah,
Wolfenstein 2.
Yes.
New Colossus. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I've not played it yet, but I have it. And
yeah, same.
I want to take a break because I like to play I don't like to play the same kind of games over and over, like next to each other.
Good idea.
So I'm looking forward to playing that. But this is like after playing the first Wolfenstein. This is the first time ever I'm actually really excited to be then playing a first-person shooter.
Well, and I think, like I said to you,
You'll
Mike,
really enjoy that game, Mike.
in you having completed Halo, it's you have a piece of gaming history now under your belt. Halo was not the first person shooter, but it's definitely one that launched it onto the console map in a respectable form because it coined the term Halo killer. From there on out, every other first person shooter was judged against its ability to stand up to Halo.
Yeah, it really
Do
was.
you know what else Halo give us as well? Machinima. Red
It did
versus Blue.
with RVB. Yeah. God, I remember sharing those videos in college before YouTube era.
My God.
Yeah.
God, that's
Isn't
a
that
throwback.
great? Isn't
They
that
created a
crazy?
special version of that engine for those guys so that they could
Did they?
manipulate the UI.
Wow.
I'm surprised that still doesn't exist.
That is just a burst of nostalgia in my head right now.
Oh, God.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, Scott and I used to share those back and forth. He would get some traded to him and send them over to me, and vice versa. And oh God, what a show!
Yeah.
If you don't know what Red versus Blue is, I think it's still on Netflix. You've got to watch it. Essentially, these guys took the Halo multiplayer and made a TV show out of it, and it is fucking hilarious.
It was good.
I've never heard of this.
You've got to watch it, Mike. It's so good.
I would, but I don't own anything to watch anything on.
Don't even have a
Or
TV.
and he can't read, and he can't see.
Can't see.
So basically, he should be put down at this point.
Right. Okay. So back to Halo. Like, not to toot our own horn, but one of the good things. One of the well, that is what a horn would sound like. Not to big us up or anything, but I think one of the good things about this show in particular is we have 4 people who have
Sexy.
have fairly different tastes. I mean, there's a lot of things that overlap. Well, there's that as well. We have things that overlap, but we do have fairly different tastes. I could stop there. We all have a bit of a different gaming history, and we can give different outlooks on things. So, like, you listen to some podcasts, and like all of the people on it. Will you please stop that? I'm trying to concentrate. For the audio listeners, Eric's getting his nipples out.
All 3 of them.
Yeah, and
You've
you
only got
listen
3.
to some
I've got 4.
podcasts, and you'll get 3 or 4 people all like the same thing, all have played the same thing, all have the same opinions. And I think one of the great things about us is we have those different things. And me being able to come in from this different outlook on Halo, where I've never played it, I don't really like first-person shooters. It's a piece of gaming history I've never done, and for me to come in from that side and listen to you guys, fucking spaff over it. And it's nice to hear the enjoyment that you guys have had in it, and listening to things you're saying about it have made me enjoy it. Looking back on my gameplay with it, have made me enjoy it more.
No, he's still a fan, even though he's a
good.
bless him.
But
Mike, your fanboy's showing.
you played Bioshock
No,
as
that's
well,
his
didn't you,
nub.
Mike?
It's so big.
Say again, Tom.
You played Bioshock too, right? Another major FPS.
I played through some of it. I ended up not being on that show because something happened.
Oh yeah.
Was it around the time my mum was ill?
I think it was.
around the time
Yeah,
my mum was ill. Yeah, so I
Yeah.
didn't play much of it. So
gotcha.
Well, I agree, and I think
I
that's
think-
how we designed the show is really interesting, where we each pick a game, and we're bound to pick a game that's meaningful to us and not to other people. So to hear those different perspectives on it is really cool.
I didn't. It's going to sound like I'm going to shit on this, but I'm not. I promise I'm not. I enjoyed Halo. For someone who going in first time on a game that is steeped in nostalgia, I saw its flaws. Don't get me wrong. So it wasn't quite the soapy tit wank it was for you guys, but it was great. It was great to go back and enjoy it and see where things came from.
I was not expecting that. I just wasn't. I'm glad I heard it though,
He's been sitting on that one.
I don't
because
think
that is good. Those are good.
but no. But seriously, I can see it, but it still wasn't. It still didn't blow my mind in any way. But I'm glad I played it.
To
Really
be
glad I
fair,
did.
Mike, I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't say it blew my mind either.
Dan, you didn't play this when it first came out, did you?
I did, but not all the way through.
So, Mike, honestly, I know you won't do it now, but down the road, definitely play through the progression of the series. Halo 2 is exceptional, just in terms of what it brought to the table. It brought dual wielding, which they took out of the series. I thought that was weird. In Halo 5, you can't dual wield.
Oh,
interesting.
could you in 4?
Because Master Chief no longer has any arms.
Oh, that would be a thing. But in Halo 4 or Halo 5, they brought ADS, aim down sight, things like that. So they kind of made it more of a traditional shooter.
Interesting. Can you sprint?
Yeah, you can sprint, and you can dash, and you can do ground pound. Yeah, it's all this fun stuff. But
So go on.
that's it.
Oh, okay. I wanted to bring up a couple of interesting Easter eggs that I found that I thought one of them was quite funny as well. So at the very end scene, like you can't see his head, but he takes his helmet off. People have manipulated it using the PC version to kind of see what happens, and apparently when he takes his helmet off, it's just another version of his helmet there.
Amazing.
You actually do get to see his face at the end of 4? I think it's at the end of 4, yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
That is quite a spoiler.
Is it just Eric's head underneath?
So interestingly, in the anniversary and Master Chief editions of this one, they've added the skulls, which made it into Halo 2. And
Yeah.
just
Gonna bring that up.
So basically, Mike, do you know about this, Mike?
No.
So in most Halo games, there's collectible skulls which are hidden off the beaten path.
Right.
And chances are, most of them are on legendary difficulties. You have to play it on the hardest difficulty the game offers. And then they do different things to the world, like mess with physics and things like that.
Give the
depending on
enemy
which ones you
twice
have
as much health.
Yeah. So they're basically modifiers, so you can find them, but they've been added to the upgraded versions of Halo 1, but they are not on the original.
So quick list here. One of them gives AI twice as much health. Another one, you can't pick up Covenant weapons. AI have half the ammo they normally would. Infinite ammo. So that's your bandana. The motion tracker is disabled for one of them.
Imagine Master Chief with the bandana around his helmet.
It's no more ridiculous than Snake wearing it in Metal Gear 2 and going...
Every time, here's one
tapping
that's
his head and going,
interesting.
"Fit it out."
Every time you respawn, a random element of your HUD is disabled.
Oh.
Let's see. Every shot is worth twice the ammo, so save those bullets. Your shields only recharge when you melee enemies. Auto aim feature is disabled for all weapons. And then, let's see. Punching enemies makes them drop grenades. That's the pinata skull.
What, like live
Oh,
grenades?
I always like the birthday party the birthday party one where you kill a grunt with a headshot and you see a spray of confetti.
Brilliant.
Grunt funeral. Grunts die in a blaze of glory, and plasma. All grunts explode like a plasma grenade. So yeah, the skulls are really fun. They either make the game just more entertaining or much more difficult.
The other Easter egg I was going to bring up, if you highlight the edit game types section in the multiplayer section of this game, you come across an image of Master Chief with text that to the reader seems to be schematics for each of his body parts. But if you look closely, some of the texts aren't schematics, but so there's different sections. So on his head, it says UV protectant sun visor for protection from elements. On his upper right leg, it says, sometimes I give myself the creeps, sometimes my mind plays tricks on me, which is obviously the Green Day song.
Amazing.
On his lower right leg, it says hydraulic suspension thigh pads with cool Kevlar crap. And there's a couple others on there, but the other one I'll bring up is on his torso. It says, "All your base are belong to us."
Oh, jeez.
Yes. Great reference.
There's a reference to Alien on one of the notice boards in the Pillar of Autumn as well. There's one about here it is. Yeah, Lost Calico Cat answers to Jonesy, which is obviously
You mean
Cat from Alien.
Calico?
Oh my god.
Is it Calico? Sorry.
Yeah.
But then again, I never trust you with the way words are pronounced. So.
It's
Still up in the air.
Yeah, there's I don't know if it's just in the Master Chief version. If it's just in the anniversary version, but also on that same board, there's the troll face meme randomly above one of the notices as well.
Really?
I got a really, really, really weird glitch. Actually, two glitches while I was playing through the original version. So on one of the levels, like everything just looked like it was covered in this layer of static. Like all of the textures, like Chief's gun and all of the rocks and everything like that. And then I had to reboot the game to get rid of it. And then there was another one on the Two Betrayals level where you go, basically you're backtracking through, following those arrows backwards. And I got to one of the doors and it wouldn't open. And then what I'd have to do is double back, go into another room, and that would force this flood to spawn again into the room after I'd killed them. Then once I killed them, that door would open.
Fun fact really quick about those arrows on the ground. Those were not intentionally meant to be there. It wasn't a design element, and there was no historical background for the Covenant having put them there. It was one of the game testers put them in because he kept getting lost, and then they just never got taken out.
I got lost a few times.
Yeah, it doesn't give you direction. It's not like 9 times out of 10 your objective is not on screen like in modern games.
They added some arrows in the anniversary version as well, because I said I swapped between the graphics quite a bit. There was, I think it was the library actually, because all those sections kind of look the same. There was times where I wasn't 100% sure which direction I was going, and I'd see the arrows and follow the arrows, and then because I get to a new section, I'd kind of flip between the graphics, like I said, and the arrows would disappear on the normal graphics. So they definitely kind of helped you a little bit, and must have realised it was an issue of people getting lost.
Yeah, it did. There was a few times I was unsure where to go. Like there was some levels where they give you an arrow, like the one with the Banshee where you had to fly up into the sky and things like that. But still, like there was times where I was like, "Wait, where am I going?"
I am glad they kept those arrows in because I got really lost most of the time.
It's not really. They don't really give you like a concrete objective. You can press start.
No,
and it says like
it just says escape.
Find this. Yeah, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's Halo.
Decent game overall. Flood of bullshit.
We're back on track to playing good games for the show.
Yeah.
What's next?
Probably questions from Facebook.
No, I meant on the show.
I knew what you meant.
Is it Chronicles of Riddick next?
Oh yeah,
Chronicles of
Are we all on for that?
Escape of Fishmonger Bay.
I'm not.
I am around for that. Yes.
I think I'm here.
Yes, I am.
Good.
Going to Comic-Con next week.
Let's pull up the Facebook page. You can join the hilarity at facebook.com/group/Factory Seal Podcast. Who's got it up?
I've got it up.
The
If you
post,
want
not
to
your
start.
goodies.
Yeah, no. Well, I've got both. So, do
Okay, good.
you want me to get started?
With the reading of the questions, not the goodies.
Oh right, okay, yeah, I can do.
Well, you
the
might
questions.
struggle because you can't read, apparently. full of shite, Michael, aren't you?
I don't have any kind of technological medium to view things on either. So, right. First off, Dalton Sutor. How about that sniper pistol? But no. With how Halo evolved over the years, do you think it still holds up as one of the greatest shooter series, like it was touted back then? Also,
definitely.
did you ever think that So Nice the Hedgepig must have a small wiener? Because if he were hung, he would have a constant terrible case of cock road rash. Hashtag morning thoughts.
So we did touch on the sniper pistol.
That's a good first question.
We did touch on the sniper pistol a little bit. That thing was bullshit in multiplayer.
Yeah.
You could.
It's such a bizarre thing.
Yeah, you could snipe people from across the map with the pistol. And if you
why
had
does it have a scope and none of the other guns do? It makes no sense.
If you had the sniper rifle out of ammo, you could still zoom in with the sniper rifle and then quickly switch back to your pistol without moving your reticle and still snipe people. It was insane. I think it still holds up. Maybe not as a single-player campaign, but as a multiplayer game, I think it definitely still holds up.
I'm disappointed we didn't get a chance to play some multiplayer, Eric, actually.
Yeah, we still can.
Yeah, that's true. Mark Wacheshi, when playing these games multiplayer, do you prefer regular deathmatch or the side games, Capture the Flag, King of the Hill, etc.? I always enjoyed the side games more, but felt like the majority weren't that way.
Slayer.
Slayer?
Yeah, I always liked Slayer. We always did Slayer or Team Slayer.
See, I'm a team
Regular
deathmatch man.
team deathmatch for me. I
It's
just
called
like
Team deathmatch or goon game, Eric. That's all we
Goon
want.
game. They didn't have Goon game in Halo, though. I
They
started
should,
to get
though.
into Capture the Flag and stuff like that
Yeah,
in
like
Halo
that.
3, but Halo 1 and 2, it was exclusively Slayer or Team Slayer.
See, I like capture the flag and stuff better in games like Halo, which have that kind of vertical element to them, rather than Call of Duty, which is I find it very difficult in Call of Duty to play capture the flag.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Next.
Oh, sorry. I don't normally read the comments to the questions, but I want to read this onto that Mark Marcheschi's question. Cody Halverson said, "I'm with you on this one. I sunk a ton of hours in Capture the Flag early on, running flags back and forth in a Warthog's passenger seat, and later in the series it was Griffball and Infected."
Oh, Griffball. Forgot about that.
Right, Stephen Oxley. Personally, I feel the pistol in Halo is the best weapon to be in a shooter. Hang 'em High is probably my favourite board, but few other shooters have such well-designed board balance. Blood Gulch with its sniper spots and machinery and shotties on Chill Out was like clearing a room with a SWAT team.
Yes.
My question, going back through the flood level... going back through, was the flood level as impressive as a battle room as it was in the first time through, or do you find yourself underwhelmed with its wave after wave type of level?
Yeah, I think we've covered that, really.
Yeah.
It's just... Yeah, they're irritating.
Well, I think he kind of hit it right on the head there, though. It was an impressive battle room at the time. Now it's just, okay, this is just infinite waves of garbage enemies.
Yeah.
I think how we consume games has become we consume games a bit differently to how we did back then as well. I mean, we see a wave upon wave shooter, and we see, well, clearly there was things that constricted them from doing certain things, and a wave upon wave shooter, these things constantly coming at the same enemies coming at you, rather than having new types of enemies constantly. Limitation, that's the word I'm looking for. We see it as a limitation.
Yeah.
Well, imagine playing this at the time, and then all of these enemies at once attacking you. It would be so overwhelming, whereas now we just kind of take it for granted. It's kind of like, it's genuinely technically impressive that was possible on the Xbox original.
Except the damn ones that would fall next to you and explode.
No,
piss me off.
That's unfair.
And the ones with the rocket launchers, they piss me off.
Stephen did also say Halo 2, which some will tout as a better multiplayer game, but are wrong, nerfed our beloved pistol, and it hasn't been close to the same ever since.
I think the pistol does deserve a little bit of praise in the pantheon of shooter weapons, just because of how broken it is. The Doom shotgun is at the top of the list, bar none. But the pistol is exceptional in its own right. Is it accurate? No. Is it awesome? Hell yeah. I use the pistol a ton playing through
Just
this.
the regular pistol?
Just the regular pistol.
Yeah,
that's how I would get rid of the grunts, because I didn't want to waste my ammo from the battle rifle or the assault rifle.
Just melee them, guys. Easy.
Yeah, but if you're in the distance and you got this damn thing that can shoot a country mile...
Yeah.
Also, a lot of the time, if you just didn't make much noise, you could melee the grunts before they'd even woken up.
Yeah.
You could do that any enemy if you snuck up behind them. Even the elites.
And it's one shot kill.
I think
I was genuinely disappointed that the energy sword wasn't in this one. I didn't realize it was on 2.
It was in this one, just when you killed the elites, it disappeared.
Yeah.
I know, but to use, I love that weapon.
Tom, what were some of your favorite multiplayer levels from Halo?
Joe, I don't even really remember, because I didn't play any multiplayer this time around.
Blood Gulch was always one of my favorites.
What's the one with the catapults? Is that Blood Gulch, where you can launch yourself from one side of the map to the other?
No,
they've got these catapult things which launch you.
That didn't come in until Halo 3.
Battle Creek.
Oh yeah, you're thinking of Battle Creek, which was kind of
Battle
a reimagining.
Creek was amazing. That's the one I remember.
What was the one that had it was really tiny, it had the 2 bases, one on either side, and the little river going through the middle of it?
I think it's that one.
No,
that's Battle Creek.
Is it?
That is Battle Creek, yeah.
That didn't have any man launchers, though.
So that was what Red versus Blue used, I think.
No, they used Blood Gulch. Battle Creek is the really tiny one. I liked Zanzibar from Halo 2.
I never played Halo 2.
Oh man, you're missing out.
But I think we should keep Halo 2 in the back pocket for the show.
You've got to finish the fight, Tom. You've got to play Halo 2.
Tom, you just need to bite the bullet and get some kind of Xbox One and get the Master Chief Collection.
Yeah,
I know.
Well, just get Game Pass. It's on there.
Yeah,
get one of these all digital Xbox Ones.
I will.
Go on, I dare you.
If it's the right, if I see a bargain, I've got the money. Do you know what I mean?
Come see your dad.
Go see it.
Is there some kind of weird sex game you two have got going on?
Go see it.
Tom started referencing
Peter
an old Peter Kay sketch when we were in America, and ever since it's just been going, come see your dad. Anyway,
Yeah.
from one weird comment to another, Chad Schaefer, do you think Master Chief is a sitter or a stander? Also, do you think Cortana watches while he goes poo?
I'm pretty sure he just goes in the suit and it wipes it for him.
Yeah, I said I bet Cortana wipes for him.
Ugh.
Okay, I have no... Is he human? Is he a cyborg?
No, he's a
have
human.
no idea.
He's a human.
Oh.
He's a
okay, I
Spartan.
wasn't
Is he,
sure.
is he a genetically modified human?
Yes, that's why they're Spartans.
Because he's a very big fella. He's like 7'2" or something, isn't he?
Sierra 117. He is a Spartan 117.
Oh, okay. Right. Cody Halverson. Seeing this game on the docket has brought back a ton of memories for me. Some of my favourite gaming moments with friends come from the series, especially the map editors. My buddies and I used to spend hours just screwing around and either making super janky levels or just killing each other in the Forge world of Halo Reach. Insert reach around joke here. Do any of you have specific memory from a game's map maker or editor? Halo series, Time Splitters, Tony Hawk, etc. Red Faction 1 and 2 even work to an extent, even if you have a lot of patience and explosives. Smiley face.
Time Splitters, we used to try to recreate all the Halo levels in Time Splitters. And you just
I
couldn't...
miss map editors.
Yeah, you couldn't make it completely, but you could get close.
So obviously Half-Life on PC had just loads of mods, and there was a separate piece of software called the Valve Hammer Editor, and you could make maps for Half-Life on there. And I used to spend a lot of time on making maps for some of the Half-Life mods. But yeah, the one from like console, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, making your own skate park.
Yeah, the skate park. I
Yeah.
forgot about that.
I tried to remake our local skate park in there. Didn't turn out so well.
Yeah. For me, Time Splitters 3 Future Perfect, that had a really good map editor on it. And what I used to do is my friend, he was away for like during the week, and then he used to come over on weekends, and I'd make a new map for him to play through, and I used to try and make them as ridiculous as possible. Like there was one where you had to get a key card for something, and I played with the lighting in a corner of the room, so there was one corner of a room where it was dark and the key card was in there. And he spent absolutely forever walking around the map.
Shit,
To try and get it.
Because Time Splitters 2 had a map editor too, didn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Because I remember messing around with it.
It was really good.
That was such a good game.
And I remember we'd laughed at this character. I think it was off EastEnders or something called Ig-YOU-wana, and I always called him Ig-YOU-wana something. It was ridiculous.
Damn.
Next question. Where was I? Matt LaFlame. Oh man, so many memories. There was no greater relief than waking to the soothing Gregorian chants of Halo's title screen after passing out from an all-night session and discovering you weren't the one with a penis drawn on their face. I miss old school Halo. I was curious if you guys spent an inordinate amount of time doing dumb things with your friends in Halo's multiplayer, and if so, what? E.g., building towers of players, flinging tanks across Blood Gulch, trying to throw sticky grenades across Hang 'em High so they hit a stationary player in the nuts, etc. Which I think you guys have kind of just covered, haven't you?
Yeah, we used to do that where we would fling tanks off with one person standing on it and then another person flying a Banshee towards you, and you'd try to jump from the top of the tank onto the top of the Banshee or throw a sticky grenade on it. And I was always...
Just Cause is just the culmination of all your hopes and dreams in gaming, isn't
100%.
it?
I was always the guy, too, when we were trying to do something really intricate that I would just toss a grenade in there to fuck things up. Be like, damn it! We gotta start all over! Then they took
You
my
would be the
grenades away.
Leroy Jenkins of the group, wouldn't you?
I definitely
Always.
would.
John Fazio. I have rarely bought a new console day one, but my mum bought my dad an original Xbox day one, and Halo blew my mind. I will never forget landing on Halo and getting into the Warthog for the first time. I wasn't too young, but I was young enough to know nothing about the game before playing. So my question is this: do you remember your first time playing it, and what did you think? When and where? Go crazy.
So, like I said,
I think we
the
kinda
first
covered
time
that again, didn't we?
First time I played it was across the state with a buddy, and I had rented it from a Blockbuster in my hometown. And my mom was kind of getting sick of me returning things late, so she's like, you better not have that game back late. So I raced home across the state to get it there in time, and that was the first time I ever got pulled over, was trying to return Halo.
Wow.
God.
I'm trying to think the first time I played it. Actually, it was I used to have a small TV in my bedroom, but when I got the original Xbox, I don't think anyone was in the house that night, so I actually brought it downstairs and set it up to the quote-unquote big TV, which was probably, looking back, just like 22 inches or something. And I just played Halo campaign like on my own. There's not particularly nothing really special.
Side note about big TVs like that. My friend, to your point, did your parents just not let you play it down there for any reason or what?
They just, for some reason, we just weren't allowed to have the console set up to the big TV. It was only it was a special thing if it
Ruins
Christmas
the decor.
morning.
So my buddy his dad was a banker and had one of those really large Sony projection TVs. I mean, the thing was the size of a damn car, but it was 55 inches. It was huge. Would never let us hook a system up to it. He was like, "You're going to destroy the TV by hooking that thing up to it." I'm like, what are you talking about? So every time he'd leave, we'd run downstairs and pull it up and plug it in. And I remember there were some close calls where we weren't expecting him to come home, but he'd come home on his lunch break during the summer or something. We'd hear his car door slam. We're like, shit! Start unplugging things and like shove it under the couch just to get it away. And they're like, what are you guys watching? Nothing.
Cartoons. Wow, yeah. I don't know why, but I think I remember there being a similar reason. Oh, it'll break the TV. Oh, it'll do weird things to the tuning of our TV channels because it was analog back in the day.
I think, honestly, I played a pirated version on my laptop. But then I kind of didn't finish it and then played Halo 2 and didn't have a clue what was happening. So, yeah.
Jesus.
Guys, we have an email.
We got one more question.
Oh, do we?
On here. Yeah,
Okay.
Santos Lopez. Oh, and my answer to my question was, that question is when I was a young, sprightly 32-year-old, it was about 4 weeks ago, I was sat in my living room and loaded up on my Xbox One X.
Fond memories. Fond
All right,
memories.
yeah, fun memories. Santos Lopez. Is Halo the best game on the original Xbox? And if not, where do you rank it?
I don't think it's the best game on the original Xbox.
Well, Halo 2, which you guys said is much better than this, is on the original, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is, yes. I thought it was 360, you know.
You thought what was 360? Halo 2?
Yeah, until earlier, and then I reminded myself it was Xbox.
Isn't Halo 3 the first one on 360?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know, I quite liked Munch's Odyssey.
Yeah.
I haven't played enough Xbox games to
So
say.
many... Oh, it's like an exclusive? It has to be an exclusive, I guess.
I would say I would put Morrowind up there simply because of what that showed that a console was capable of doing. At the time, I only knew one person who had a PC powerful enough to run Morrowind, and then it came out on Xbox, and I'm like, well, great, now I can play this game.
Maybe Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
I like Knights of the
We
Old
should do that
Republic
for the show at some point.
That's such a big
Fable?
commitment.
Fable's a
We
good
should.
shout.
Burnout 3, I like that one. Psychonauts, but that's a
I think
cross-platform.
For me personally, it might be Splinter Cell, I think.
I would
Yeah.
say Halo 2 is probably, I would consider it the best game on Xbox, because
Halo 2, that's fair. I've not played it, but if it takes everything from the original and just turns it up to 10, then
Jet
then
Set
that's
Radio
awesome. But
Future.
Jet Set Radio Future and that was the
Yeah, that
original
was a
Xbox was the
Dreamcast
first
port.
console where I played Shenmue as well, which is also a Dreamcast game. But yeah, they brought out Shenmue 2 for the original Xbox. Also, just every game looked better on that system. Like all the PS2 and Xbox releases, everything.
it was called bump mapping, where you could actually like see height within character models instead of just flat textures.
man.
We have an email. If you want to send us an email, factorysealed@manatank.com. This comes from a new listener, Morgan Moore. Gay, guys! Been listening to your show for the past few months, started back in November. I've recently gotten more into retro gaming and was looking for a good retro game podcast. I'd recently played through Silent
Keep looking.
Hill and then was curious. I hit up Spotify to see what was out there about people's thoughts. I loved it. After stumbling through random podcasts, I came to your episode 72, Silent Hill, and a bunch of soiled pants.
What one to start on. Also, it's nice to hear that people are finding us through Spotify.
Yeah. I pressed play and continued working away. I'm a cleaner. By the end of the podcast, I could hardly see through the tears. That episode is the best shit ever. Friggin' hilarious. Cheryl? Cheryl? Since then, I've been keeping up with the show and playing every game. Keep up the good shit. P.S. What's your favorite memory on playing Halo Collector's Edition, CE? Mine would be playing chicken with warthogs on Blood Gulch. Me and my brother would do it for hours, ramming the shit out of each other until one warthog flips and you drive over your asshat opponent. Morgan Moore. Well, welcome, Morgan. Glad you're here.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah,
It's
welcome.
always nice
Thank
to
you
hear.
so much. It's
new
always
listeners.
I love hearing from people how they found the show and things like that, and what they where they listen to it and things like that. Like, I can't remember. I'm sorry, I can't remember your name, but there's one guy who left a review who was working graveyard shift in Australia, who was kind of just cleaning the bar, and he was listening to our shit during it and things
Or the
like that.
apple picker from Alaska. Just weird locations and things like that.
What about that really loud guy with the long hair as well from Sheffield?
Didn't he end up being on the show?
Yeah, what a twat! What a twat he was.
I got to agree with Morgan here. Episode 72 is ridiculous.
God.
Have you seen Cheryl? God, that was over 100 episodes ago.
Yeah,
That's mental, isn't it?
I do remember. Like, obviously, I was a fan before I was on, and I remember pissing myself laughing at that episode as well. Like, it's so interesting for me going, because sometimes I will listen to some older episodes every now and again if I'm up to date on all of my podcasts at work, because I listen to a hell of a lot of podcasts at work. I will just go back on old factory sealed episodes, just kind of have a laugh and stuff. And I generally go back to ones before I was on, and it's so interesting now listening to you guys. When I was a fan, but kind of as a fan again.
Yeah. You can
And,
let your fanboy
also, it's
show.
quite interesting when you listen to episodes when you're not on it as well. Like when I listened to you and Tom last week, and
Yeah,
because-
I really
Yeah.
enjoyed listening to you guys and how much you talked about me when I wasn't here.
Well, we wanted to
Yeah.
make sure you got it.
Exactly.
That's why, because I thieved this show.
No.
Yes.
No.
I haven't said it for a few episodes. I'm bringing it back.
God damn it.
All right, so looking ahead at our docket, we are done with Halo. Good one. Chronicles of Riddick,
Yeah.
followed by Zone of the Enders on April 7th, and then we need to figure out,
Indoors.
are we keeping Castlevania on April 21st?
Yeah, I think so.
I thought we were switching that around with something.
I think I switched it back because you moaned about it.
Well, is Mike still playing it with us?
I may or may not. It depends because I've got a load of time off after that, so it depends if I book a holiday. But that'll happen that if we go away just before it. So, maybe.
Also, Dan, did you... No, you didn't swap out your Zelda choice, but you did get rid of Dirge of Cerberus,
Yes.
much
till
to
next
my
year.
dismay.
Eric, check the chat if you're not on it.
Yeah, I am.
Cool.
Answer is no.
Yeah, I found out that Batman Arkham Asylum is 10 years old this August, so I swapped that out for Dirge of Cerberus.
Nice.
I gotta get a new square button.
It's on Game Pass, so you'll just have to get a new X button. Yeah.
I only have one Xbox One controller, so I'll just drop it into the PS3 and hope for the best. So, yeah, that's gonna do it for this week, guys. That's all the gas gone.